Hey there, guys. Hope you're having a great day. Looking forward to a stream. And sorry we're doing a stream so early. I'm speaking at a church tomorrow, about 5 hours away. And so I had to do a stream now so that I can hit the road when we're over. So that's just the way my schedule's looking today. And other than that, excited to be on here with you. We had one of our viewers who is watching who analyzed all of the footage and is really good at math. And I knew somebody would be able to do it, but calculated the exact speed that Kiely was driving. I want to talk about that. I think it was really important. I also have some other thoughts that I want to share about maybe some other people that are possibly involved. And then there's a theory about that 1250 footage that I actually think makes a whole lot of sense. So there's just some things like that I want to talk about with you guys, and I hope you're ready to have a great stream. I feel like today's going to be a great time together. Nice Saturday afternoon. Our Saturdays around here are typically a little more on the casual side, so we're definitely going to have casual conversations today. I'm looking forward to that, and looking forward to to being on here with you. I hope you've had a great day so far, and I'd love to know where you are watching from. While you guys are doing that, I want to let you know that we're totally crowdfunded, which means it takes all of us doing together what we cannot do alone. So that means we rely on your support to be able to continue doing what we do. You can, the best way to support, easiest way is hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. If you're able to support through finances, you can give on PayPal, which is Tyler Feller, CashApp, $Tyler Feller 22, or Venmo, which is at Tyler-Feller. And super stickers and super chats make such a big difference as well. And we'd love for any of you to join our membership, which is called the Feller Fam. It's a great community of people. It gives you access to our Facebook group, which there's a lot of action over on our Facebook group. So we'd love for you to be a part of that. And if you're watching the replay, there's a little button called the Super Thanks button. We'd be glad to have you be a part of that. Hey, Barb in Maryland, good to see you. Michelle in Canada, good to see you. Hey, Gene in Massachusetts, January in Alabama. Hope you're doing well. Another Massachusetts in the house. Seattle, Washington, good to see you. Amy says, amazing testimony from Sandra. I just sent it. I saw that. I haven't had time to read it because it was a little bit long. But I definitely want to dive into that and read it because you were sending it right as I was getting prepared to get started. But I can't wait to see that, Amy. Thank you so much for your super chat. To really appreciate it. New Hampshire, South Africa, Nashville. That's where I'm at. I'm in Nashville, Virginia, Conway, Arkansas, North Carolina, Madison, Wisconsin, Michigan. Good to see you guys. Homemade beef barley soup. There you go. Hey, Lisa. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Ohio. Asheville, North Carolina, Massachusetts, Texas. Good to see you guys. Idaho, Nashville. Great to see you guys. Hang on a second. I want to send a message to somebody. Okay. Deb, thank you so much. You said the video has been to the FBI thanks to Duty Ron, who is also susp. Yeah, I don't know. I would assume the FBI already had this footage. Maybe they weren't able to analyze it in the way that we did. So I don't think Duty Ron's the one, the reason why they have the footage. I think the FBI already had the footage. I sent the footage to Jennifer Coffindaffer a couple days ago, and she responded. So I'm assuming she could have gave it to the FBI if she felt like they didn't have it. Clovis, California. Hey, how are you? Eastern Kentucky. Good to see you. Thank you, Deb, too, by the way, for your super chat. It means a lot to have your support. Selena, Tennessee. I don't know where that's at. Is it close to Nashville? Good to see you. Ireland in the house. Good to see you. Hey, Patricia Wade. Thank you so much for that super sticker. Hope you're having a great day. It'd be awesome if we could start our Saturday off with a super sticker train. We'll start with Patricia Wade. It's number 1. It'd be cool if we got to 20 super stickers just getting the stream started. Hey, Kathy, thank you so much. Number 2, really appreciate it. Thank you guys for your support. Okay, good to see you guys. It sounds static, does it? Huh. I don't know what to do about that. That'll probably make it sound better. Should be less static now, probably, right? Hey, Blue Clues Brookie. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for that. You're number 3. I think it's because the way I'm in the middle of trying to set up a new situation for the way we do streams. And I think the way I have these lights are setting up, it's interfering with the power and causing some static. So I got to get a power strip and some little blocks. For some reason, like everything that wants to come in like USB now. It's like, can you just give me a plug-in? Like, I'd love to have a plug-in. Hey, Tim, thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. Number 4 on our super sticker train. Hang on a second. I want to send it. I'm talking to Sleuthy Goosey over on Twitter real fast. I'm trying to message her. All right, guys. Sounds better. Thank you. I hope it. I mean, I noticed it last night and I couldn't figure out, like, was that my microphone that was doing that, or was that Frankie's because he had the AirPods in? So I thought maybe Frankie's was causing some issues. By the way, we had such a great stream on our Faith Friday last night. We talked about a lot of topics, but one in particular, we talked about Halloween. So if you guys missed it, we'd love for you to go check that out. Hey, Amy, thank you so much for that super sticker. You're number 5. Really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hopping aboard that super sticker train. Mindy, number 6. Appreciate you. You said to me, this fits my theory of her hitting her head on the windshield. That is true. Remember, it was smashed above the steering wheel when she went over the hill and down into the water, most likely unconscious. Great point, Mindy. Theoretically, if it was an accident, she goes off the embankment, probably not seat belted, hits her head, goes unconscious. That's why she couldn't get out of the car, right? And then you could surmise, even if she was driving, maybe the car was floating on the water for a great deal of time. Like, maybe that's how she ended up in the back hatch. So it does fit with that theory, Mindy. I mean, it definitely does fit with that theory. Very interesting observation, something I hadn't even thought about. Thank you for that super chat. A lot to think about. Hey, Heidi, thank you for that super sticker. Really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're number 7. If you're saying I got mic feedback, there's nothing I can do about it, Adam. I see your messages. Thank you for telling me, but there literally is nothing I can do about it right now. I don't know what the deal is. I'll have to fix it after the stream. It's not that bad. I know it's not that bad because I watched part of the stream again from last night, so it just is what it is for the time being. Or I'll try another route. I'll do one more thing. And we'll do it like this. So, thank you for telling me, though. And I'll have to continue to troubleshoot it. Yeah, Sleuthy Goosey's going to hop on in a little bit. I want to go over a couple things first. She's going to walk, like Megan, the mom that called in that one day that we've had a lot of questions for, apparently did a scandalous interview yesterday. And so I'm interested to hear her thoughts about it. Yeah, thank you, Adam, for doing that. I'm sorry if I came off the wrong way. Yeah, thank you for giving me a heads up. Anyways, apparently Megan did a scandalous interview yesterday, and I didn't have to. It was like 3.5 hours. We were doing Faith Friday. I didn't have time to listen to it, but maybe there were some things that were said that were of interest. And I don't know why she keeps going on shows if it's causing controversy, unless that's her goal, is to cause controversy. But we'll have an opportunity today to talk about it. So Sleuthy's gonna hop on in a little bit to talk about that. Hey, Karen, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. You're number 8 on our route. How many super stickers did I say we're trying to get to? 20 super stickers. We're at 8 right now. Thank you guys for your support. I asked the question in the poll, Does her speed matter? And for a lot of you guys, her speed does matter. Her speed does matter. And one of the things too that I think like Athena was saying, maybe some other people were saying, was the way that the car sort of looked like it stops. There's two things that I noticed. One, it's possible that that car was coming around a curve, coming around the bend, coming around the curve. And when it was, there also was an 8-second time gap for whatever reason. The camera glitched for 8 seconds. And so I think it kind of felt like it stopped for those two reasons. Hey, Deb, thank you for hopping aboard that super sticker train. You're number 9. Appreciate it. So I'll put it up on the screen just to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. My gosh, there's so many videos on the internet. There's just like there's probably 1 million videos on the internet. And the one I want to watch, I don't have pulled up. Here it is. All right. Talking about like, let's see what we see here. There's just a time where people were like, well, her car was stopped. Her car was stopped. Her car was stopped. I don't know. I don't really think it was that her car was stopped. I think she was taking a curve and it maybe just looked like the car was stopped. Yeah, it's not actually a video. It's just pictures every 2 seconds, but it looks like a video. I mean, you can compile it where it's in motion. I guess it's basically what a video is, except for they do like 30 frames per second instead of 1 frame per every 2 seconds. So like that's kind of like what we're talking about. It almost appears as if it stopped for a second and then it continued. You guys see what I was talking about just then? Here, I'll rewind it just so you can see what I'm talking about. There it is. It's coming around the bend. Feels like what's going on. I kind of think they just if it's Kiely driving, Kiely's doing a turn coming towards the camera, and then that's why there feels like there's a stop. Again, like looking right in this area. It's like, hang on, what's going on? And then continues. So there's a fluid motion, I think, that probably took place. It just didn't appear that way. And then I think it'd be interesting to count how many seconds the car's floating on the water. If each frame is 2 seconds, then let's just count it real fast. On the water, let's see, it's floating 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46, 48, 50, 52, 54, 56, 60, 62, 64, 66, 68, 70, 72, 74, 80, 82, 84, 86, 88, 90. It's a minute and a half. Did I count it right? I know I might have missed some, but did I count it right? Hey, just a sub. Thank you for that. Really appreciate it. Kathy, thank you guys. It's 11. Thank you guys for your support. Really appreciate it. He said it takes a minute. I know I have the timestamps written in my phone. I don't know why I just sat there and did that. Hey, Barbara, thanks for your gift over on Zelle. Really appreciate it. Let me see. I had 12:33:20 is when the float begins, and then 12:34:20. Yeah, so that's a minute and 20 seconds. I just counted 90 seconds. So yeah, it's about 90 seconds. 80 to 90 seconds, a minute and 20. Yeah, so 80 seconds. That's right, Kevin. Exactly what I was seeing. Hey, Sheila, hope you're doing well. I don't remember seeing you last night. I miss you. Hey, Paula, good to see you. Good to see you. I was wondering about you. You said this is Paula from the live video last night and feeling good and free today. Have a blessed weekend. Thanks for the prayers. Well, bless you, Paula. I'm glad you're feeling better. I'm going to send that message to Frankie right now. God bless you. Thank you so much for your support, too. Thank you for that super chat. You're number 12. So she's floating out there 80 to 90 seconds. And that 80 to 90 seconds hypothetically would have been enough time for somebody to get out of a car, you'd think, right? You'd figure out ways, especially with two of the windows down. How did that one window break is the good question that nobody's been able to answer. Maybe there's endless amounts of questions going on. I don't know. And then the other little thought that I had that I was implanted into me by Mindy a couple minutes ago was like, we did notice that on the top of their car, on the top of Kylie's car, near the top of the windshield, that there was a crack there. And we couldn't figure out what that crack was from. So theoretically, Mindy's theory is appropriate that Kylie hit her head. Just a thought, guys. Not saying it's what happened, but it is possible. It's definitely possible. Hey, if you guys haven't done so yet, would you please hit the like button on the video? I just realized sometimes I forget to even do it, so that helps shoot us into the YouTube algorithm. That's a good place for us to be. Now, one of our watchers, I don't know, I don't want to say his full name because I don't want to dox him and all that. I don't know what if he wanted. He never said I could use his name or anything, but his first name is Glenn. And I don't want to say his last name or anything, but he sent me this, and as well as a couple other emails. So I just wanted to read it to you. He said, quick relevant note on the technique of overlaying in analysis. When overlaying, most of the time, absolute precision isn't possible. However, one needs to try to be precise and estimate the magnitude of error. That second light that disappeared was not from the other side of the reservoir. It was almost certainly just east of the knoll where the parking was. Moments earlier, it was on the knoll, which was how the headlights were pointed upward in order to blind the camera. So I agree with that. He's talking about that 1250 footage. And I'll talk about another theory on the 1250 footage as well. And by the way, the other, like literally, some other YouTuber whom I don't even watch at all, ever, thinks that they cornered the market on the ability to put overlays on videos and was just going off on me, causing drama in like every other chat, saying I stole his idea. And then everybody was saying like, oh, Tyler stole his footage. Tyler stole his footage. I didn't steal nobody's footage. I made the overlay myself. We do overlays on this all the time. Every other YouTuber that I can think of has done overlays. So what I hear is jealousy, unrighteously upset about techniques of video editing. And just for the record, so everybody knows, I did not steal anything from anybody. I did not steal anything from anybody. And I just found that to be one of the stupidest comments that I've ever heard, to be honest with you. Hey, Mindy, you said this new footage also debunks the AAA guy story. It absolutely debunks that AAA guy story. Absolutely debunks the AAA guy story. And, like when Sleuthy was on the stream the other day, she was saying, it was a great point. Like, if that is not a vehicle, what is it? Like, if that's not a vehicle, what is it? Great question. Great question. So it has to be a vehicle. It's the only thing that makes sense. So, anyways, Glenn was watching it, did a great job, and shared some thoughts about the speed. And I want to share that with you. And again, looking at the poll, 77% of you guys say her speed matters. And I think it matters. Kathy says drinking and driving is dangerous. Absolutely. By the way, Mindy was number 13. You're number 14. Thank you guys for your support. Let me see. Just making a quick edit on something. Okay. The speed. On approach to the water, from where the vehicle was stopped to the top of the embankment, uh, this guy calculated an average speed of 9.4 miles per hour. Okay. From the top of the embankment to the water line, which is about 65 foot, from the jolt seen in the light to the great deceleration of the light, calculated 10.9 miles per hour. This implies to me that the encounter with the slope was not expected or noticed, and also that tracks and perhaps skid ruts leading directly into the water must have been present. So, on the approach to the water, the speed was on average 9.4 miles per hour. Once that vehicle's at the top of the embankment, it speeds up briefly to 10.2 miles per hour. 1.5 miles per hour to 10.9 miles per hour. Amy says it good right here. She says, if it's above idle speed, it's relevant. I totally agree. If it's above idle speed, it's relevant. And 10.9 miles per hour, what is idle speed? Let me just Google it. What is idle speed in a car? Idle speed in a car is typically between 600 and 1,000 RPMs. I don't know how many miles per hour that is. How fast can a car go in idle? I have no idea. It's not giving me any answers. How fast is 600 RPM? Okay, calculating engine RPMs, mile per hour. There's a lot of different factors. It's like 1 mile per hour. I just did the math on it. So, yeah, she's going 10.9 miles per hour. So it definitely matters. She was going 9.4 miles per hour. So she's going down, vehicle speeds up. Then he says the float of the vehicle is detectable, though with the naked eye, it looks still. Just put your cursor on the center of it, then play the video and observe. Okay, good point. One thing that no one has noticed are the quick swipe to the right of the headlights, which is visible on the opposing bank. This would be indicative and simultaneous with encountering the slope. I actually did notice that, although we didn't talk about it much. We're talking about, and I did mention it actually quite a bit when we went on the video that I have that was just covering the footage, and then when we were on the stream as well. What you can see is Kylie's headlights shining across the shore, and so I think that's interesting. You can actually see Kylie's headlights shining across the shore, and so that definitely was a point of contention, a point of conversation, possibly a point of evidence for all we know, right? But all the people out there too, is there anybody in the chat who says that this is not real footage? All the people out there is like, this isn't a vehicle, this is fake footage. I'm sorry, I have no idea. It's like totally undeniable that it's her vehicle. Like I have no idea how else to articulate it than that. Okay. Number 4 again. Some seem to be assuming that once the lights were not visible, the vehicle sunk to the bottom. Not necessarily, and probably not, but maybe in a minute or so. Hey, Mindy. Tyler, are you aware Megan released a recording of women saying she thought she saw Kylie's car that night go into water? I asked her questions. I'm aware that Megan came out and said some things yesterday that were pretty scandalous, and Sleuthy Goosey is going to hop on the stream in just a couple minutes to talk through some of that. So there is an awareness from my perspective of some of that, but not totally, not totally. By the way, you're number 15. Thank you so much for that super sticker. I'm interested to see what all was said. I didn't know she released anything. She released it on that stream last night. My goodness. Hey, Ashley B, good to see you. Thank you for that super chat. You said, I believe Flickit TV who drove at night right up to the water. I don't think this is footage from that night. It's from the night Flickit was there. Well, the thing is, like when I was on the California website, whenever I got the footage to begin with, I'm the one who set the day and time. Like you can see down there at the bottom of the screen, it says down there August 2022 at military time, what would be equivalent to non-military time, 12:31. And I'm the one who pulled the footage myself. So that's why I was having some questions around how people wouldn't think that it was right. Thank you, Ashley, for your super chat. Really appreciate it. Mm. Hmm. Yeah, it's like literal real footage that we got. And there's a couple other things I was going to try to cover. Oh, the other thing that I really wanted to cover with you guys involved the 12:50 timestamp because I thought Chronicles with Olivia did a great job of explaining what possibly happened. So you guys can see here, I got the clock running on this is just the footage. It doesn't have an overlay over it. And what we'll see, it's 12:45 now, 12:46, 12:47. What we're going to see, we see an exodus of cars leaving, which is interesting. 12:48, 12:49, and then at 12:50, we sort of see this other car come. It shines its headlights, and you guys can see it moving around down here. 12:51, and people are like, "That's another car that went in. That could have been Kylie's car going into the water." Well, I didn't think so because the light is just inconsistent. I thought maybe it was a bonfire. But what Chronicles with Olivia said is that most likely just because of the way that the headlights are moving up and down, shining into the camera, same thing Glenn just said, kind of flickering on again, off again, and then it sort of trails off. Likely what happens is that's a vehicle that's driving on this road here that you see outlined in red. That makes sense to me. Like I at first I was like, is that a bonfire? It's kind of a short bonfire. What's going on? I think Chronicles with Olivia was right. It's somebody driving down this road. You see that? You see what I'm talking about? This path here. Whereas Kiely sort of went here into the water, if you guys can see where my mouse is at. This car, we saw the light and then it just goes whoosh, kind of flickers on again, off again, depending on the angle that it's at. That actually makes the most sense to me. I'm like, ding, 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 ding. We have a winner. That one makes sense to me. So let me play this again so you guys can sort of see what I'm talking about. Did you guys see it? I'll rewind it a little bit. You can watch it again. 12:48. You see the lights leaving. Then I just think somebody made the wrong turn. Like, look at it. There's a mass exodus of cars leaving. You guys see it here. There's a max exodus of cars leaving. It's like one car made the wrong turn, and then that's the car that we see sort of go on that path, trying to figure out where to go, turning around. They're like, crap, we don't know where to go. They drive down here. There it is. that's what I think happened, guys. I think Chronicles with Olivia sort of scheduled it out right. So what do you guys think? Hey, Mindy, you said I can call and explain the footage and what I asked Megan in a live just last night. First hand, not hearsay. I think Sleuthy's calling in, so why don't we hold off when Sleuthy calls in, and then I'll see. And you can email me that way. I have your link. If I have your link, or email me that way, I can send you the link. But I'm gonna see what Sleuthy has to say, and then we could possibly add you. Thank you for your super chat. It's funny that, this person's like saying, "How dare you guys keep talking about the same thing?" But yet, like, they're on here watching it too. Like, if you really were that bored with it, wouldn't you just watch something else? Like, you go watch a Mr. Beast video or something. Beat the dead horse, beat the dead horse. Yeah, whatever. Here's one thing that Sleuthy also posted I wanted to share with you guys. Said, just gonna leave this here. So we see this picture. Man, there's a lot of glow sticks and stuff on the ground. The FBI came knocking on the door Tuesday morning asking for any information we might have about the missing 16-year-old Kiely Rodni. The high school party she attended on Friday night was literally half of a mile from our campsite. We told them that we only saw a train of cars going to the party at 9:30 and another large group of the cars leaving at 12:30. Our campground is ground zero for search and rescue efforts. Yesterday, the sheriff brought a boat to search the reservoir we are staying at. It's so scary and so real. We daily see and hear helicopters flying over, posters on every business. Our thoughts and well wishes are with her friends and family. Is the red circle where you guys are located? Yes, we were camping there during the time she went missing. What does the red X symbolize? The red X is where the party was. So they said the red X is where the party was. Isn't that interesting? Because that's if they're saying the red X where the party was, that's where Kylie's car was in the water at. Hey Patricia, thank you so much. You're number 17. We're trying to get to 20. We're taking a little longer than I thought. We're trying to get there. I don't know, Tyler. I think you might be wrong. I'm okay with being wrong. I'm not saying I'm right. I might be wrong. Like, I'm okay. I'm okay with being wrong. I'm just sharing my thoughts. That's what we say all the time here. We're a community of contributors, not just content consumers. And basically, what that means is we're okay with a dialogue that's respectful. And as long as there's a respectful dialogue, we'll continue having conversations about some of this stuff. One more thought that I wanted to share with you guys, just because it goes in like perfectly in line with some of the conversations we were having the other day, which was, if you guys remember, we were just talking about how on earth were there Department of Homeland Security 50 FBI agents assigned to this case like within the first day. That part just doesn't add up to me. Do you guys remember Kylie's boyfriend? Not Jagger, that's her ex-boyfriend. Her actual boyfriend. Anybody remember his name? His name was Nate H. Nate H. And just someone sent me an article about Nate H's grandfather. Bill Hambrecht is an American investment banker, chairman of W.R. Hambrecht and Company. He helped persuade Google to do an IPO instead of a more traditional method using banks. He also helped Overstock.com, Ravenswood Winery, Andover.net, Salon.com. He's credited as the first major banker to recognize the value in helping Apple, Genentech, Adobe, and San Francisco-based company Hambrecht and Quest, which he founded in 1968, backed Netscape, MP3.com, and Amazon.com. Okay, that's Kylie's boyfriend's grandfather. All right. So then you just look at Google images of him. Who's he hobnobbing with? All right. Well, here he is brokering deals with Nancy Pelosi, who's the most powerful, third most powerful person in the whole country right now. That's Kylie's boyfriend's grandfather hanging out with Nancy Pelosi, whom we already knew lived in this area. Hey, Ashley, mass cars leaving the opposite side of the lake. Uh, my brain left that mode, Ashley B, so I'm not familiar with that at this moment. Help remind me to come back to it. Thank you for your super chat. Yeah, so that is Kylie's boyfriend's grandfather hanging out with Nancy Pelosi. And he's a major, 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 major player. We see this picture of him with Nancy Pelosi. Here's a picture of him speaking at Congress. Here's another picture of him speaking at Congress. Here's a picture of him hosting Nancy Pelosi. I mean, the list goes on and on and on of times that her boyfriend's grandfather is hobnobbing with some of the most famous, you know, and powerful celebrities in the world. And so I just thought that's super interesting. And then I was like, well, what about her boyfriend's dad? Well, here's her boyfriend's dad right here, Bob Hambrecht. He's a partner at Allotrope Partners, which is a merchant bank in Oklahoma, California. They identify and develop companies and projects to clean economy and deploys pools of capital into those opportunities, educates decision makers on successful policy and investment paradigms. Prior to that, Hambrecht worked as a consultant on a number of projects, including clean tech and environmental space, working with a number of nonprofits in the early stage. He was also the CFO of Green Life International, and he was the co-founder of W.R. Hambrecht and Company, which is the firm that we're just talking about that just did all those major deals. One such of his investment has a lot to do with that technology that we're talking about involving the cameras. Hey, the exception, we've missed you around these parts. It's good to see you. You made it. I'm glad to see you. We have missed you. So, guys, I'm pretty sure Kiki, not only did they have access to these fire cams, but possibly are the ones who own the cameras. This guy at least financed them. Hey, the exception, thank you so much for that super sticker. You're number 19 on our route to get to 20. I just thought it was super fascinating. So we have a line of authority and power. We have people who are hobnobbing with wealthy celebrities, including, you guys know, John Podesta lives in that area. I would imagine, since John Podesta happens to live in Truckee, and I don't know, we have Kylie's boyfriend living in Truckee as well. I don't know. I would imagine, you tell me what you think. I would imagine Kylie's boyfriend's parents, since they're friends with Nancy Pelosi, are also friends with John Podesta. Yeah, exactly. Deeply involved in developing solutions that promote sustainable forest management and address California's forest fires. This makes the video suspicious to me. That I don't think it makes the video suspicious to me. I think it mean it like I think it makes it, well, maybe it does make it suspicious. I don't know. And how come nobody's talking about her current boyfriend? That was one thing that was interesting to me. How come nobody's talking about her current boyfriend? Is there a cover up going on? Was her current boyfriend, is there any involvement? Guys, I'm just saying, it's worth us thinking about if there's any level of foul play, how so many FBI agents and Department of Homeland Security was involved. And what was Department of Homeland Security doing? They were helping with the technology of this. I don't know, maybe they were what does it mean, helping with the technology of this? Were they getting rid of footage from the party? Let me go back to one of their original articles and just see what it says. Numerous agencies, including California Highway Patrol, FBI, Homeland Security, Truckee Police Department, and Washoe County Sheriff's Offices, joined Placer County. Does it say what their role is? I just found it suspicious from the beginning. I found it suspicious from the beginning. Yeah, exactly. It's like, is there a cover up? I'm not saying that there is, but I'm saying, is it possible that there was a cover up? Is it possible that there was a cover up? Was there foul play? Was it even accidental foul play? Did it involve the grandson of one of the wealthiest people in America who hobnobs with some of the most powerful people in America? Because we study these cases all the time. And unfortunately, you and I both know this, that access to government leaders, and it sounds like the inroad to that was finances, helps get things done a lot faster than if you don't have it. And I hate that our culture is built that way. But for example, the case of Jalissa Fuentes they don't have FBI agents on this. There's not FBI agents working on that case. Dylan Round's case had one FBI agent who had, like, I don't know, 17 or 21 cases that he's currently working on as well. This case had 150 or 160 local law enforcement, had 50 FBI agents, had Department of Homeland Security on it. How does that happen? Somebody explain that to me. And it happened in a matter of a day, in a matter of one day. Tell me how that happens. You said, Kathy, thank you for finding out the truth. Thank you. Thank you for your super chat. Really appreciate it. Hey, Katie, you said, I thought all along, follow the money. It seems like there is a cover up. It's in the realm of possibility. I'm not saying that it did happen, but it is definitely in the realm of possibility. I still think like there's a great deal of possibility that there's an accident. I still think that there's a great deal of possibility that there's an accident. But one thing that I know for sure, and some of you guys might get upset about what I'm about to say, is that throughout what we experienced collectively with the COVID crisis that happened, we have learned that we cannot trust pretty much anything that's being said to us. That's pretty much what we've learned. And so even when we hear about agencies being involved, even when we hear about government looking into cases, we're like, well, think of all the lies that they just told us for the past 2.5 years about all kinds of different things. And now we're supposed to believe them? Guys, unfortunately, we've just got put in this place culturally where we can't trust anything anymore because they fed us so many spoonful of lies. We've been from 2020 to 2022, we were fed more lies from mainstream media, from government on both sides of the aisle, from CDC. We were fed more lies than I can even keep track of. More lies than pretty much anybody could keep track of. And then they want us just to trust that in this situation, when it doesn't add up, because we study all kinds of other cases, that it's like, yeah, there's just, for whatever reason, we've just assigned over 200 agents to this, including Department of Homeland Security and FBI. Excuse me, we study these cases all the time. Sounds a little fishy to me because it's pulling teeth to even get any level of involvement from higher ranking authorities. And you've assigned 50 full time? Explain that to me. And still it took a volunteer dive team to go find her? There's no pictures from teenagers at a party? It's not adding up. Thank you for your super chat. Deb says Zuckerberg supposedly help search for Kylie. I don't know if that's true. I know that he has a house in Lake Tahoe. He might have. I bet Hambrick probably knows him. Kylie's boyfriend's grandfather probably knows Zuckerberg. If he's hit hobnob, if he's been involved with Amazon, he's been involved with Google, he's probably been involved with Facebook. We know for a fact Kylie's boyfriend's grandfather has been involved with Google. Kylie's boyfriend's grandfather's been involved with Amazon. We know there's a fact. That's irrefutable. So then, was he involved with Facebook? Probably to some degree. I know Nancy Pelosi is, and he's hobnobbing with Nancy Pelosi. Squirrel Girl Crime Talk. By the way, Squirrel Girl Crime Talk covers all of these things over on her channel. You guys should go follow her. She said, "This research made it make sense for me. Thank you for sharing. God is at work." Yeah, let's continue to pray and just believe that things that are hidden in the darkness will come to light. Absolutely. Thank you for your super chat. Hey, The Exception. Thank you for that. Really appreciate it. It's good to see you. We've missed you around here. Hey, Paige, thank you for that super sticker. Thank you so much. Hey, Kathy, thank you for that super sticker. You said God will show us the truth. Media lies and cops are crazy. I actually like cops for the most part. I'm pro law enforcement, but it definitely seems like in this situation that there were some obvious ways that law enforcement dropped the ball. I think let me just show you. I think Jennifer Cobbs maybe even had made mention of this. I don't know for sure. I know at one point she did. By the way, I did text her about this case, and she messaged me back and gave a resp I sent her the video, and she responded to me about the video, um, and then she said that she was picking up some damage from her house. Her house was damaged in the hurricane, so she's somebody we need to pray for. And then she messaged me this morning. I think it was this morning, and just said that it's in these moments you really realize what's important. She said, "Thank you, Tyler. Yay, I have a new phone again. So appreciate things now I took for granted," is what she said. And I said, "Yeah, I would imagine if there's anything I can do to help, please let me know." But I'm glad she has a phone again. And hey, Katie Van, good to see you. Thank you for that super sticker. Really appreciate it. Guys, Sleuthy Goosey is going to be joining in just a couple of minutes. She's going to be sharing with us some thoughts. Apparently, Megan, the mom that's been making her rounds, made her rounds yesterday and shared some audio and maybe even some scandalous information on a stream. And so we're going to talk about that in just a couple of minutes. I asked her if she'd give me a little bit of time to come and cover the speed and just a couple things I wanted to cover before she came on, but I sent her the link now, so she should be coming on at any moment. Hey, Marlena, you said no matter the outcome, there are many who need to be held accountable on so many levels. The Truckee way needs a new way, an honest way, and a way that's not hidden in darkness too. Marlena, is what I would say. I don't think there's honor in silence. I've never understood that. When I heard that, it's one of those things that hits you the wrong way. When I heard them say there's honor in silence, it hit me the wrong way. Hey, Ashley B, you said someone did something horrible or they would have called the police when Kylie went in water. A charge for contributing to the delinquency of a minor is not even close to reason enough. Yeah, someone who did something horrible or they would have called the police when Kylie went in the water. That's right. That's right. Somebody had to know what happened. If it is accident and then foul play to cover it up, then that needs to be talked about. But if there's something horrible that happened on top of that, then we need to know that too. And so just figuring out who it was that served alcohol to these minors isn't enough. I agree with you. Thank you for your super chat. Hey, Rebecca, you said Duty Ron called in a favor and asked the FBI. Is that what he said? He called in a favor? Called in a favor and asked the FBI. And yes, they have it. They're enhancing it now. And yes, it's real. They should have had it before. If they're just now getting it, then my goodness. Thank you for your super chat. If Megan is legit, she could really use one of your amazing prayers. Well, I've spoke with her off air. I don't know what she said last night. There's some things she said that don't add up to me when she was on, and I don't know what her motive is for continuing to go on every single channel. That's what I told her. I'm like, I said, you need to quit going on all these channels. It's causing nothing but disruption in your life. And clearly, she did not heed my warnings because she have gone on several other channels after I told her that. It's like I don't know what her motive is on wanting to do that. Jennifer Coffindaffer said, "Who provided the substances that led to Kiely's intoxication? Is there liable persons who supplied the substances and IDs to buy alcohol? Was there a liable party that violated their duty of care or who blatantly contributed to her death? Did anyone know she drove in Prosser and did nothing?" Those are great questions coming to you from Jennifer Coffindaffer. And I think that last question is maybe the most important. Did anyone know that she drove into Prosser Reservoir and did nothing? Did anybody know? I want to know what you think. Put a 1 in the chat if you think people knew she drove into Prosser Reservoir. Put a 2 in the chat if you think she didn't. I'll give you a second to do that. Looks like most of you guys are saying 1, a couple twos. So you're not alone if you put a 2, but most of you guys are saying, yeah, somebody saw her going to Prosser Reservoir. And Armchair Tay says, all day. She's a 1 all day. All day, baby. Armchair Tay, a number 1. Then Jennifer Coffindaffer says, what so many believed happened is caught on video. Law enforcement hasn't verified this as reliable, but they also didn't verify her belongings at the bottom of Prosser. That's what I was going to say. Like, she sort of makes a statement about that. They're like, they didn't verify this as reliable, but they also didn't verify that her belongings were at Prosser. Let's see what people have responded to that. Sleuthy says, right? Makes me wonder why an accident is being kept so quiet. They can't even utter her name or it will compromise their investigations. Curious to know what you thought of the Truckee Way. Jen says, exactly. If this were the case, why didn't they say this in the first place and move on? They are way too secretive for an accident. Jennifer says, who provided the substances that led to Kiely's intoxication? Is there liable persons who supply? This is the same thing we just read a second ago. Supply the substances, ID to buy alcohol. Was there a liable party that violated the duty of care? Did anyone know she drove in? Did anyone know she drove in? Most of you guys seem to think yes. Most of you guys seem to think yes, people knew that she drove in. Ashley says, excuse me, detective, but what proof do you have that anyone supplied her anything? How do you know she was intoxicated? Has the tox came back? No. So why would an FBI agent post hearsay as factual and not provide facts? How did she get in the trunk? I disagree with Ashley Owens on this one. Sorry, Ashley Owens. With all due respect, this only shows us what we already know, that her car went into the water. This does not tell us who was driving or what condition Kiely was in. Jennifer, so smart. My goodness, I love Jennifer Coffindaffer. She said it sheds light on when. The footage sheds light on how. The footage sheds light on where she drove prior to entry. The footage sheds light on other vehicle activity. She says, I prefer to post after authentication from law enforcement, but as with the items from Kiely Rodni's car, not sure what day that will come. Bev says, I'd like authentication of the video source too. To me, it's so obvious. So obvious. And from FBI, not the local law enforcement. It is unfortunate that the internet site with the archive files was only very recently put up and archives already taken down and no evidence that they existed on the Wayback Machine. Prompt Critical says the video shows she went into the water, which we knew that it took 14 minutes from the time her lights are seen until she enters. Huh? Nope, that's wrong. DV says, I see the video and found myself thinking, why is Kiely's car heading into the opposite direction of those leaving? That's exactly what I was thinking. Why didn't she follow the others that left? Another thing that I was thinking. Hang on a second. I'm texting Zav Girl real fast. She said, did I read your text wrong or are you doing an afternoon live? I'm like, no, I'm doing an afternoon live. I've seen so many people leaving parties that were driven to follow other people out as safety for themselves. Gypsy says Sammy is a liar, yo. That's guys, and I'm someone who's stood up for Sammy like a lot, like a significant amount of time, because I felt like it was really unfair to point fingers at a teenager without any evidence. Despite the fact that there's massive discrepancies, I was giving her the benefit of the doubt. There's no possible way that there's a benefit of the doubt that can be given in this situation. She said there was a phone call that took place at 12:36. Somebody needs to block this person, honestly. They keep saying they're reporting me to law enforcement. Why are you talking about an open case? What? Have you ever heard of news before, Patty? Southern Gal Jen says, Tyler, thank you for covering these cases so clean. No drama, no cussing, not thinking you're always right, being respectful to us, allowing other opinions. Thank you, Southern Gal Jen, for that. Hey, Sleuthy.
Hello.
Thank you for joining.
Yes, of course. Why can't I see you? I think.
I can see you.
I think my internet it's like frozen on having your channel tagged to law enforcement.
Oh,
That's all
yeah,
I can
that's
see.
funny. I see you and me both on the screen.
I'm sure it's my internet.
I'll send it to you on Twitter what I see.
I keep trying to hook up to my phone internet, but it's not showing up as anything. That's why I was late. I tried to reset my computer. I can't even see me.
Oh my goodness. Well, we see you just fine. She's gone. She'll be back in just a second, I'm sure. Ashley says law enforcement hasn't verified that she was intoxicated. But I'm not reading Ashley Owens again. Follow the money and donors to some of those in authority. Shenanigans. Ain't no shenanigans about that. Trust me, guys, if there's anything that's piqued my interest more than anything in this case, it's that simple fact right there. Hey, Southern Gal Jen, I can't remember. I got distracted because Pretty and Patty Pink or whatever her name was right above you. But thank you so much for your super chat. It really means a lot. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's like, I'm thinking about that Patty who's like, I'm reporting you to law enforcement for talking about open cases. I'm thinking like, you're going to report every single media source in America. You're reporting every media source in all of America because everybody's covering this case. Hey, Scott. Scotty Scholes, you said, I think your red highlight path was Kiely intended to travel across the gully through the neighborhood to 89, mistook the lake for gully, and reacted too late. That's what I think, too, actually. There's a good possibility. Like, if I'm going with the accident theory, that's pretty much what I think happens, too, Scott. Thank you so much for your super chat. Really appreciate it. You said invite Zav Girl. I did invite Zav Girl. She said that she has one or two things to work on, and then she will hop on the stream in a little bit if we're still on. Behind the Crimes with Michelle says, "Hey, Tyler and fam. Hey, Behind the Crimes with Michelle. It's good to see you. Hope you're having a great day. Thank you for your coverage of this case, and I really appreciate you. I'm glad that you're here. Thank you, thank you, thank you." We did. We put a tweet out. I put a tweet out, or actually, I mean, Sleuthy Goosey put a tweet out and tagged them, and then we had everybody go retweet, and it was like 170 people or something, 150 people, I think, retweeted it. So we're trying to get them to be involved in it. Anyway, Shenanigans says, follow the money and the donors. If there's anything that has piqued my interest more, more than anything in this case right now, it's the fact that there are high level politicians, which I think would be adventurous to go down that road, attached to people who have millions, possibly billions of dollars. I'm talking about Kylie's boyfriend's grandfather, who've invested into those politicians that, for the sake of their own family heritage, want to cover this up. How many times have you guys seen that sort of thing happen, like even on 60 Minutes or 2020 or on movies and TV shows? You see people that are wealthy cover up crimes. They wield their finances with people in power, and people in power respond to them because they depend on the financial resources to be able to continue doing what they're doing. Thank you, Kathy. You're right. I am an American, and I was born in the United States of America, and I am thus given freedom of speech. Thank you. John Podesta being one of them, Nancy Pelosi being one of them. Let me think, who else is there? I'm sure there's more. We'll get down to the bottom of it, guys. I'm going to keep my finger on the pulse of that, because if there's anything that's piqued my interest, that is what it is, more than any of this. Like, if there's a potential cover up, I'm following the money. I'm following, even more than the money, I would say even more than the affluence, I'm following the influence. Gavin Newsom. If somebody can figure out if Hambrecht was involved with Gavin Newsom, it'd be great to know. John Podesta. If we can connect Hambrecht to John Podesta, which I'm sure is obvious since Truckee is involved. Okay. GMP22 add 1. I've said this from the start. Why a GoFundMe set up before we even knew what happened to Kiely? Why for an odd amount, I believe 124,000. Where is it now? Where's the reward money? Where's all the money that was sent on Venmo to Lindsay? I think that's a great question. Like, we're talking about people who they're like, oh, this was just a middle class family. Hang on a second. I never knew a middle class family to do the kind of things that Kiely was doing. As far as I know, Kiely was living an upper class kind of a lifestyle, gallivanting around the world. She was going to Europe multiple times. She was going to Pacific Rim. She was going to Hawaii. Seemed like a pretty extravagant lifestyle for a teenager. Fit all that in with all the other stuff that they do. So I was wondering why they had a GoFundMe to begin with. Look at, like, Dylan Round's family totally refused to have a GoFundMe, and there's nothing about that family that was like coming across as they were rolling in the dough. So, hey Deb, you said they can't take money with them. True, great point. True point. Very good point. I don't know what happened to Sleuthy Goosey. Did her computer break? Did her computer mess up? I'm gonna text her real fast. Did your computer crash? Let's see what she says. Mirror Gal says, is it just me or does it look like the car went straight into the water? I can't be sure because it's so hard to see the vehicle itself. You can only see lights. It did. Thanks for keeping us posted. Thanks for sharing, Jennifer. So I thought that was an interesting thread. Let me see what else, if there's anything else Jennifer Coffin ever tweeted about this. Note to self: when things feel overwhelming, remember one thought at a time, one task at a time, one day at a time. So very interesting. And guys, again, I'm going to put on the screen. This is the second angle that I from the 1250 camera. The highlight that you see on the screen chronicles what Olivia did, and I actually think that this little route here that you guys see, that's what somebody takes on that 1250 footage. That's what I think happened. I think that that's a 1250. That's a 1250 route that somebody drove. I'll put it again on the screen. Because that Twitter feed just got me thinking about that again. It's like I know we've already covered it, but oops. Dang it. I don't think I can put it on the screen unless I already have it still saved. Yeah, here it is. Okay, cool. It's 1240. You guys will see what I'm talking about. $12:45, $12:46. All the cars begin to leave. I mean, that's oddly suspicious too. It's like that's another theory, right? Like if there was a cover up, maybe somebody did drive Kylie's car because how those windows get broken? Like just think, guys, I don't know if it was an accident or foul play. At this point, I have absolutely no clue, to be honest with you, and I'm just sharing with you my thoughts. So I'm saying if it was an accident, here's what I think happened. If it was foul play, here's what I think happened. If it was foul play, it would be easy to see somebody in the vehicle hop out of the vehicle, run to where all these other vehicles are. You guys see down here where they have a mass exodus. This is what it is. $12:49, $12:48 because I around a little bit. You guys see the car light. That car's like down there turning, spinning around, right? You guys see that the way the headlights are shining? They're facing this way now, shining into the camera. I think they're just going around the curve. 1250. Then we see it disappear, but I think we see it disappear into the trees. That's what I think about that 1250 camera, personally. Let's rewind it a little bit. 1231 and count the minutes from the time that Kylie's vehicle goes into the water that quite possibly, if it's the foul play cover up theory that we're talking about, that quite possibly somebody could have jumped out, ran to where those cars were at, which it's a pretty big hike because it's basically totally uphill, and then drive away. So there's 1231, 1232, 1232:46, 12. There's her car. We see it there. Yeah, this is from my video the other day. And then 12:35, we notice this line of other cars. And then they start to leave. It's like 1 minute later, guys. It's literally 1 minute later. Oh my goodness. I saw an article too, just talking about the cause of death. It says the Reno Gazette reports that Kylie was a music major. The hunt for her is still well. This is an old article. Then it goes on to say the family apparently cremated Rodni. They had a chance to say their final farewells in privacy before the public memorial service held in September. She never left the park, and her automobile was located in Prosser Reservoir, not too far from where the party was at. The reason for her passing has not yet been determined. An anonymous family member reportedly told the news that she was cremated, and hence there was no funeral. As such, a memorial service was organized. They don't believe the teen was murdered and has been suggested. So the family's like still 1000% just saying nope, they don't think that there was a murder that took place. They think it was totally accident. I'm curious what you guys think. I'm gonna do a new poll. Like, I am curious. That was one thing I made mention of before I started the stream that I wanted to do, was just say, which do you think, accident or foul play? I'm gonna do a poll. Which do you think, accident or foul play? And then you guys answer the poll question to let me know. Accident or foul play? Because before we were like virgin on 90%. Like, there was a chance, like it was like 90% you guys thought foul play. Have you been down in the hopper for a while, Sleuthy? I didn't see you.
No, I don't know what's happening. It's probably going to disconnect me. It won't let me connect to the right Wi-Fi.
Oh, really?
Like, I can hear you great. I cannot see anything.
That is weird. Are you on a computer?
Yeah.
On StreamYard.com?
Yeah, like it's not. But what's weird though is that it's not letting me connect to my phone Wi-Fi.
Oh, like a hotspot?
Yeah, which is faster. I tried shutting. Oh, wait a minute.
I'm waiting. I think she's switching Wi-Fis.
Am I here?
You are here.
You are here. Perfect. It just now let me get on. I don't know what's happening. I shut my computer down like 7 times. I'm like, I broke it. I officially.
Oh my goodness. Well, you're here. Good to see you. Usually we hear you, but now we get to see you.
Yes. That's probably why it wouldn't work.
Squirrel Girl says, thank you, Sleuthy Goosey, for using your voice. You make me proud to be part of the true crime community.
Oh, thank you. She's great. She put up that $5,000. I wonder if anything's been said since then.
Oh, it was from her? It was actually her $5,000?
Yes. Why? I don't know. Squirrel Girl, where did you get that money? I know she's the one that offered it. I don't know where she would have got it from.
Wow, I didn't know that. I thought she was just reporting on it.
No, I mean, maybe, but I don't know. Maybe she could say, because that's really interesting.
She had great research about. It's interesting because some of the conversations I've been having off the record with folks have involved certain family, and I haven't talked to her at all, but a lot of I don't know if she's having off record conversations with some of the same people that I'm having, but she started to unpack a lot of the things that involve that family, as was I, based on some of the conversations that I had been having, which I kind of told you a little bit about. And it's just the level that Kiely's boyfriend's grandfather was at, involved with politics, is absurd.
Yeah, well, we had talked about it on Scott H's live, and I didn't really, so I said the last name because I'm like, everybody knows by now.
Yeah.
And then she just made a video and put up a picture of the grandparents with Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah.
And it was like, there it is.
Yeah.
There it is. If anybody, truly, if anybody had anything to look out for, I would say it was them. Well,
I put it up as well. I just went through not just that picture, but lots of pictures. It's all over the place.
God. Yeah.
It's on Google. He's at Congress multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, very evident. Marlena says, I'm more convinced now that the picture of the teens was them looking out at the reservoir, watching her car sink, which is what you were alluding to, I think, on your Twitter feed today.
A long time ago. Well, a long time ago when I saw that, I said, I keep coming back to this photo. What is this photo?
I know. Let me put
and
that
why
up.
why do I feel like that's what I'm looking at, is a car, and everyone's kind of like, oh crap, like there's a car going out into the water. And to be honest, I think that the video kind of shows. I mean, look, so that I just put that picture up, okay? And I've had that picture. I've been sitting on it, and someone's been helping me, figure out who all those kids are, and we've got most of them down. I don't think there was much more than that at that party. If I'm looking at like the footage from the fire cams and all the photos that I've seen, this looks to be it. And
You think that the party didn't have that many people at it?
oh yeah, I think this is it. I
Just
think
based on the number of headlights and stuff?
based on the number of headlights, the amount of people in each of the photos that I've seen, it's not like we're looking at photos where there's 100 other people in the background. There's many gaps. And to be honest, I always thought that it was a little strange. Where are they hiding all of these photos and videos of people that weren't local, right? So they can stop
So I'm going to
local.
ask Doug then from Adventures with Purpose, because he said they had proof that there were at least 400 kids at the party.
I wonder what though, like what? And I'll be honest, even these pictures that I've seen don't even have Sammy. I haven't even seen Sammy yet.
It's crazy. PJ says Sleuthy is stunning. OMG. Smiley face with hearts floating around.
Stop.
Thank you, PJ, for your super chat.
Thank you, PJ.
All right, let me go down to that other photo because you just reposted it. Didn't you? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I put I said those. Yep. I think that's about right. I think that's it. I think that's about all of them. That was at like 11:45.
I can message that one kid real fast and just see how many people he thinks was at the party. That I couldn't remember his name, but now I remember it again.
Good. I'm glad I saved it.
I know. Funny.
It's like one of those conversations where you just like keep talking and hope they eventually say their name. And also, where's her phone?
That's the biggest other question that I have. It's like, I mean, it's possible that it's just down at the bottom of the lake and they can't find it. Like that's entirely possible. It's a small device. It's muddy. That's totally in the realm of possibility for me. However, like you would think that after they discovered the computer that they would do a deep search down there, if nothing else. And then you think about the conversation that I had with Alameda County, who supplied their resources and their dive team to specifically go find the phone.
Right. And I think at one point, didn't Check-It say he was going to stop looking and that he was going to, that now they had like 2 professional divers that were there to kind of finish it up. Okay. So if they were going to find it, I would hope they would find it. I mean, you have to think, so now people are saying that the car looked like it drove right to the edge of the water. Okay. So that was part of what Megan was saying last night, was it looked to this girl like they drove to the water very close. And then she makes a comment about turning around. And in the video, that is what it looks like to me, is then there's headlights that go back up the opposite way. And it looks like someone's climbing back up the hill. Isn't it possible that what we saw at 12:34 was someone coming down to throw the phone?
It could be.
And then turn around and go back to the party. It
could be.
But then where's the phone? This is just all like
so I think Megan's in the chat too, by the way, which is interesting. And we have another person that's in the chat named Mindy. She said she was on the stream where they were asking Megan questions yesterday. Do you know who I'm talking about?
She was on the stream, like on the panel?
That's the way I interpreted it.
Okay. I mean, I don't know everyone's names, but I remember questions that they asked, and I remember what people were up there, girls especially.
So walk me through some of that conversation. Like what happened on that panel yesterday?
So it seemed to me like Captain Kurt was trying to do what I was trying to explain to Megan I was trying to do, is just clarify the answers a little bit better, slow down a little bit, and follow all the way through so that the responses make a little bit more sense. That didn't happen. actually, I had more questions personally. So at one point, they were talking about this girl at the grocery store who is the one who said she called 911.
Uh-huh.
The way I understand it in this new explanation is that when Megan went into the store to talk to that person in person, about why they lied or why she misunderstood that there was a 911 call, she got a different person. So the conversation that's been recorded is not the girl who originally told her that she saw the car and called 911.
So she released an actual recording.
She didn't. Somebody else did.
On Kurt's channel yesterday?
No, they played it, but I think it had already been posted. I think
Okay.
Emma, I know Emma's her name. Crime Stories Obsessed UK, the girl with the really nice accent. I truly, I love her accent. I know her name is Emma because of how she says it, but I can't remember. It's Crime Stories UK, and she had like a bunch of pictures before the rest of us did.
I feel like Crime Stories UK is in my chat quite a bit. Are they? Does anybody know? I feel like I see Crime Stories UK a lot.
I know the picture. It's like a tan and white picture, and it's got. But she.
Squirrel Girl says a commenter said that SF said, I love it when it's 4 people down line, that FBI has the phone, will verify. But the thing that, do you remember the video that SF teased us with and then put on and took off and put on and took off? And the first thing that the police said when they came down there was, did you find the phone? Do you remember that?
Exactly. I'm so glad you said that. That came from him. So
yeah.
When did they get the phone?
I guess after the professional divers showed up would have been the only timeline where that would add up. Thank you, Squirrel Girl, for that. Hey, you too, Patricia. Thank you for sending that super sticker. Really appreciate it.
So then why not say that? Like, why? So like, why did he wait till he presented the world with this footage? Okay. Then on top of that says, oh, the time you guys are looking at isn't even correct. It's like 20 minutes later. You're looking at something that's not her going into the water. Then says that FBI has the phone. And someone had messaged me and said that he was saying prior to posting the fire video, he said something to the effect of, if law enforcement doesn't say anything, I'm going to start putting out information that's going to blast them. Kind of like if you guys don't make a statement, I'm going to start putting out the stuff that I know, kind of thing.
Do you think he knows? Because a lot of the things he said has been like totally unreliable. By the way, Mindy, I sent you a link. And Karen says she thinks there'll be an unexpected twist soon. But do you think, unfortunately, like most things I've said, whatever his name is, have said, just seems to be totally unreliable?
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
Hey, Mindy.
Hey.
Hi, Mindy.
Hello.
So were you on the panel yesterday?
So, yes, there were 2 lives. The first one was the Captain Kirk, and Megan was on, and I was listening. And that's when, I'm sorry, I have a cold, so bear with me. She was on for a while, and all of a sudden, and at least in my opinion, I felt like she snuck in this info like it was no big deal, but to me it was a big deal that she had this recording for a week of it, and she says it is
that what she said? Because remember, I point blank asked her when she was on my show. Some of you guys might remember this. I asked her, like, well, how come you didn't talk to the actual girl? And she said, I got too nervous. I went through her line at the register and I got too nervous to ask her. Well, anybody remember that?
I do remember that. And this is why it took me by such a surprise, because of everything this past week Megan has said or not said, and people not trusting her and all this stuff. She snuck in last night and says, like in the middle of the conversation, that there's a video released in its audio. She gave there was two YouTubers she had sent it to the night before.
I am not one of those people.
And nope, it was the one Sleuthy mentioned and another one, and I can't remember what it is. But so that meant she snuck this in. She was sneaking this information in that she had this recording for a week of the actual girl, the woman, saying she thought she did see Kiely's car go in the water that night. So she released it to these two YouTubers, and then these YouTubers apparently put it out there. And so then after that live, we went on to another live, and I don't know if I can say it or not. So can I say the name of it or no?
I don't care. As long as it's not an enemy of mine. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I don't think she's not perplexed.
I was gonna say, I really just want to know because I'm gonna go watch it.
So Perplexed went live after Captain Kirk. So all of Captain Kirk's people, or most of them, went over to Perplexed Live, and Megan, I had called in because I was so stunned by this info. To me, it felt like a bombshell, and she just kind of snuck it in there. Like, oh, I have this recording of this actual girl who saw the headlights, saw Kiely's car. She has the recording. She released it to two YouTubers. So I was on I had called into Perplexed, and then Megan calls in. So you can hear me ask Megan, what was the point of you? So you're, like, let me recap here. This whole week has gone by. You've been blamed for lying and all this stuff. Now, all of a sudden on Kurt's live, you sneak this information in that you actually have this recording of the actual woman who saw the vehicle that night, what she believed to be Kiely's car going down by the water. She has the actual recording, and Megan released it to two YouTubers without really making a big deal, but she just kind of snuck it in, or maybe it slipped out. But she was talking about, oh yeah, it's on, she snuck it in, there's this YouTuber who has it. So they actually started to play it on Kurt's live. And the whole time I'm thinking, wait a second, does nobody realize what just happened? Like, she's had this info for at least a week. And then she kind of snuck it in that she actually released it to two YouTubers to be released.
After she got it, just to be 100, I want to be 100% clear. She got it after she told me she was too nervous to ask her about it, or she had already had it then?
According to her last night, she's had it for a week.
That was the word she used? Megan,
yes.
If you're on, put it in the chat. Let us know. I know she's in here because I saw her a second ago.
And I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I just can't hear very well, and I don't know why. But then she said, she said she had it for a week, and she released, this was last night, she said, I released it yesterday to these YouTubers. So my point was, okay, you hid this info for a week. You could have saved yourself so much, I guess, grief, if you can prove it's the conversation. And then the way she just kind of snuck it in there like it was no big deal. And it is she says it is the actual girl from the grocery store. And she says, I've known her for 20 years, this girl. And then she gets corrected, basically, that we don't really know her. You know of her for 20 years.
Yeah, that's just like the bank. So when she's saying about how she spoke to and she says, I've known this person for 40 years, but I didn't know. I said, that's your son?
Right.
But started the conversation by saying,
yes,
were your kids at the party?
Yes, correct. And she didn't know who this woman's child was, but she knew this woman for 40 years. Yes, I saw the same thing.
There's I just thought things that don't seem to add up, right?
Tyler's face. He's just like, what is this?
Yeah, and if you watch Perplexed live, another guy joins in, and he really basically tells her, in doing her a favor, you really need to just zip it. Do yourself a favor and zip it. But I can't get past the fact that she had this information for a week. So I directly asked her, Megan, what was the point of you releasing the video the way you did? Why send it to two YouTubers? And in my opinion, she should have, if anybody, she should have sent it to Tyler, not to these other two.
Well, and she sent me an email and said that she went to the AT&T store and asked me what questions she should ask. She said she's going to the AT&T store to ask about the 911 call. And I was in the middle of doing a live. And I'm like, I've been to AT&T stores. It's not like the sales rep that's trying to sell you an iPhone can look up somebody else's phone records and share it with you. So I just felt like it wasn't I'm doing a live, so I couldn't respond, so I didn't feel like there was a good chance to respond. Squirrel Girl says, "What if SF is being paid to help with the cover up?" Just saying. At this point, that's a definite allegation or whatever.
It's an allegation. It's not out of the realm of possibility, and it could also be that it's not just. Am I something with Mike? If I hear like waves, like
It sounds like you're in the ocean, but that's okay. We like that sound.
okay, it's like something with me. You're gonna have comments underneath, like why can't she ever just be silent in the background? It's always like crickets or
Crickets,
waves.
ocean.
I have no idea what that is. I made sure I was in total silence, like in my room, in my bed, where there's like absorbing things around. But is it even possible that it has nothing to do with someone paying? We read this Truckee Way and we're talking about mutual interests. Could it be something like that? Could it be nothing? Could it just be wanting to be helpful? Sure, absolutely. But I think that
the Truckee Way is giving everybody the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah.
Lauren, thank you for that super sticker. Southern Gal Jen says, but didn't people go to law enforcement and not one listen to them? Yes. Whenever Check It TV found the computer, that's exactly what happened. You're exactly correct.
And another point to the video, or to the girl that said she saw her car, believes she did see her car go that night, never went to the police that night. She never called 911 that night.
Well, she said that after people looked into whether there was a 911 call. And then that's supposedly what prompted this whole going to the grocery store to talk to this woman.
And Michelle's right. Like, Michelle has the timeline because Megan, like, reemerged somehow on Michelle's show, if anybody remembers that. And that's why this whole week we've been talking about it. Michelle is ground zero for all of this. And she said she didn't have it a week because it's only been a week since she was on my channel. And that's where this all came from. So, great point, Michelle. Thank you for that.
Yep. She says she had it a week and released it. This was yesterday, so it would have been the day before, to 2 YouTubers. And I was like, well, if you had this information, I don't understand why you sat on it and then slipped it into this live conversation like it was no big deal. There's this video out there of the recording. And I'm like, wait, what?
Oh, Southern Gal Jen's talking about those 911 calls that Megan had mentioned.
Yeah. And she made it through 3 hours of Captain Kurt's live before this got brought up organically from elsewhere, and then played it and then disconnected.
Yep. And then she did appear on Perplex Live where I asked her those questions.
Oh, she appeared on Perplex Live?
Which is kind of shocking because I thought at one point they were going to like really go like I was glued to my phone because I thought they were going to go at it at some point. I put both earbuds in.
Oh my gosh.
We went on to Perplexed Live after, and that's where I asked Megan these questions on the panel. And I asked her, why did you release it in this way? I just don't, if you've had it for a week, in her own words, and she's like, well, I can look up the date exactly. I'm like, it doesn't really, you've had it and you didn't release it. And the way she did it, I understand recording it, I guess, so she could prove she's not lying, but why sit on it? Why all of a sudden just kind of release it? It was like a bombshell that she just kind of snuck in there like no one noticed.
Well,
Sleuthy just sent me messages like, I can't wait to see your face react to this.
And now I'm like, now I'm gonna have to like exit out of the chat because I hear people. I see that this is why I don't go on camera, because I can't hide my my reactions and emotions, and then it's like trying to pull it out of me.
I think half the reason people watch my show is because I can't hide my reactions.
Yeah, I knew coming on camera would be an issue because now I'm getting instigated.
Just ignore him.
She's holding her tongue. Sleuthy, just say what you want to say. And I'm trying not to get anyone in trouble, and I'm trying to be calm about all of this. And so talking about the video, I was on a live days ago. I don't know when, but it was Emma with the pretty voice, and it was someone else, and Megan. And they were talking about it. I like jumped in and I was like, well, what's going on? And they're like, oh, well, she has this video, but we can't play it because she recorded somebody without their permission. And I basically was like, well, we're talking about how she recorded someone without their permission. That's what's against the law. Playing it is not what's against the law. It's actually recording it. So now we've already admitted.
Well, it depends on what state you're in, right?
She's in California. California, but it was in a public place, and it's just the voice. So I don't know if that even is an issue, to be honest. But
yeah, I mean, and even if it was, like I said, at that point, when you're talking about recording consent, it's the actual act of recording. It's not whether you're going to share it or not. So if it was against the law, she could be taken to court. She was already publicly admitting that that's what she did, is that she recorded her and their conversation. So
yeah, and she was saying she didn't know it was wrong. If it is wrong, she didn't know it was against the law. But at this point,
called ex post facto, or no, that's after the fact. What is it? There's writ of habeas corpus or something. Like you have a responsibility as a citizen to be aware of the laws.
Yeah.
Saying that like you're not aware.
Yeah. Like I didn't know that like murder was illegal, but I went ahead and like did it. Now I know. So like, please, you have to let me go because I wasn't sure that was, I'm here.
I kind of feel like it's her way of, I don't know, excusing always everything is I didn't know.
So she was in California. Can you record?
Not without both participants' consent. Now there is like a thing about, so they have to have a reasonable expectation of privacy. So if they're standing in the middle of Walmart and there's shoppers in the video walking past them, that's one thing. But if they're standing in the back, or if they're in a place where it's just the two of them, then that's something else.
Because I've researched this before. Like if you're in one of those states and like, for example, you're already recording, like if I'm recording a video, like we're live right now, and they call me and I answer it, then it's, even if you're in a two-party state, it's allowed because you were already in the process of doing something. But if I'm on a live and I'm calling them with the intent of them being on the air, you know what I mean? Right. Then that's what would be illegal. See the distinction there? Yeah. Or like, if you are obviously intentionally recording them, that's one thing too.
And personally, I just feel like that doesn't even matter anymore. Yeah, you have this info for a week that this girl believes that she saw Kiely's car go into the water. She drops it like she knows it's going to be a bombshell, but didn't, like, it was just the way she snuck it in and held on to it for a week, released it to 2 certain YouTubers, and acted like, oh yeah, the video's out there. But now you're mentioning it a week later, 3 hours into the live, like.
Well, I don't understand. It doesn't add up to me. So what were some of those other discrepancies that we saw and heard? Sleuthy?
I'm pulling something up really fast.
Okay. I'll get to some super chats.
Then I will.
I'll get to some super chats real fast. Hey, there's Amy, our super sticker train conductor. Thank you, Amy. If anybody wants to hop aboard, we'd love for you to do that. We're closing in on our second hour. We haven't even done a super sticker train. Thank you. Lauren says, in the spirit of Thanksgiving, I'm Canadian, I just wanted to stop by and send some love to both you and Sleuthy. Thankful I found your channel. Well, thank you so much, Lauren. Really appreciate it. We're glad that you found the channel too. Hey, Squirrel Girl, what's up? You said all original leads would have been to Placer/Woo. They had full control of the vetting. This is a huge issue. And the other place the other leads would have went to apparently were teenagers. So there's some big issues, and I wonder what the Department of Homeland Security was doing. We got a lot to unpack with all that Squirrel Girl crime talk. Thank you for your super chat, hopping aboard the super sticker train. Thank you, Patricia. All aboard. I hear the sound. Thank you for hopping aboard.
So in terms of the privacy and the expectation, so for instance, in California, there is a difference with your reasonable. So I tend to agree with the fact that as soon as I step outside of my home, I have no privacy. I could be on camera at any time. I could be being recorded at any time, but that's me. My reasonable expectation is that I will have eyes on me the second I walk out the door.
Yeah.
But it does say, so there's a difference between being in like a restaurant and recording a conversation that's happening at a table where we're very close together and we're like talking and we're whispering and you happen to catch me on your recording.
Yeah.
Versus, like I said, we're sitting at a bench outside of Walmart, and there's, people walking by, and you can hear them in the recording. Like, from what I understand, in that recording, could you hear people in the background? It was manipulated, which I cannot stand. The voices were like slowed down, so you couldn't even really tell who was talking. But regardless of anything, she recorded this conversation, talked about the conversation, and then the conversation got out. So it was more or less like, I'm putting myself in a pickle by talking about this conversation. If I'm going to release it, I might as well let it go.
And then I'm saying I wasn't aware of the law.
Yeah. I mean,
So what happens, like, if that person she recorded is upset about it, then that's when there would be problems.
Right.
Well, it would be like, it's a civil matter. Mm-hmm.
It would be criminal, wouldn't it? Because it's against the law.
And
I mean,
oh, sorry, Smoothie. I did ask her if she did this for clout or if she did it to prove she's not a liar. And she just kind of gets stumbled on her words, like it was kind of irritating though too, because she couldn't fully answer. Like, I feel like she kept getting cut off, and I'm like, just let her speak, because she says a lot when she speaks.
Mm-hmm.
She talks a lot, for sure.
You can get things out of that.
I wasn't doubting that, like, she went to the grocery store and somebody told her that. Like, there was no, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't think anybody was actually doubting that. I wasn't doubting that kind of a thing.
I mean, but where I'm confused now is that we're talking about saying that the recording is of the original person.
Yes. Per Megan, yes. It is of the original woman. She says she's known the girl for 20 years, so it has to be a woman. Not a younger girl, right?
Right. Have you heard the conversation about the mouse?
I don't know what they were talking about with the mouse. I didn't know what that was.
So that's like what this recording was. So like she was in like the cat food section. There was like a mouse in the floor, and she was like, I need to talk to a manager about the mouse in the floor. And then they started talking about this. And she said that this woman was like, yeah, 2 of my girls that work here, blah, 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 saw the lights, blah, blah, blah. So I was under the impression that this recording is of this, let's call her a manager, not.
No, I don't know if she's a manager or not, but Megan says it's the original woman who saw saw Kiely's car drive by her slowly, disappear, and she thought it went into the water. If she thought that, she does mention maybe turning around, but she was concerned that the car went into the water. Why did you not call 911 immediately if you suspected that? And then I think it was like the next day or two, she went into work, this woman, per Megan anyway, saw the flyers and was like, oh my gosh, that's interesting. I believe I saw that car. But why would you not? If I thought I saw a car go into the water, I would have called 911 immediately.
Right.
She did not, according to Megan.
Mm-hmm.
According to this tape, if it's that actual girl.
And let's talk about this tape, right? So this tape of this person saying that they saw her car either pull up very close to the water or go completely into the water has not been given to law enforcement. It was given to Kiely's family.
Correct. According to Megan.
We're still, and I've asked Megan in a previous live if what she has found out, what she's discussed with the teenagers, all that stuff, if every piece of information that she's gotten from the gate has been given to law enforcement, and she said no.
She also said that, she also says this woman from the recording does contact law enforcement within a couple days of seeing this car. She saw the flyers and immediately tries to get in touch with, I think she says she called the tip line and said, no, I need a detective. I don't need the tip line.
So,
and she made a couple attempts. Whether she actually talked to them, I don't know.
Right. I love Tyler. If Tyler tells me that a phone call that he's letting me listen to is something that he's given to law enforcement, I'm going to be great. That's what you should. But I'm also going to email that phone call not because I don't.
You're going to do what you need to do responsibly.
Exactly. That's my duty at this point. Is I've been made aware of something that may or may not impact an active investigation. I'm going to send it. Period. I don't care I don't care if the person on the recording said that they spoke to, that's a matter of, it's not that I don't believe Tyler. It's that I don't believe that person on the recording. It has to go to law enforcement.
Wendy sends a super chat and says, I was given my best friend's last words a few months after he passed. I kept it for months before I realized I should turn it into cops. Was beyond me. Thank you for your super chat. And I do think sometimes trauma like that does blind our responses in doing what we're supposed to be doing. Megan, if you're watching, put a comment in the chat. I want to know if you're here. I know you were on here earlier.
I will also say, Megan said last night, and I think it was in Kurt's live, that she's not supposed to be doing any panels, although I don't think she has stopped. And she even says last night, I probably just lost my daughter for doing this, for going on this panel.
That doesn't even make sense.
So,
because Daisy doesn't want her to talk anymore. And I want to talk about that, but I need to, I could feel my face getting red. And so I needed to step away for a second.
I will say something else about what she said too. A couple of things just didn't add up to me. That she knew that like the 40 year late, or the woman she knew for 40 years, but didn't know it was her kid, or didn't know who her kid was. She also said when she contacted Sammy for the first time, she called Sammy and said, hey, Sammy, do you know who this is? And Sammy didn't know who she was. And she said, it's Daisy's mom. So if you're that close with her, I don't know, that just seemed odd to me that she didn't know your number. She didn't know who you were.
I want to talk about that too.
And also I asked, I know I sent it in a super chat. I don't remember if she answered this or not. I don't think she ever got to it. How in the world have you not met Sammy's parents in the 3 years your daughter was with her every single day? I have 4 daughters that are 18 to 26 years old. I knew their parents of their friends in some way. Usually go and meet them, talk to them on the phone. How in 3 years, if you were that close, do you not even know who her parents are? You didn't know they were lawyers. You didn't know anything about her family? And she's at your house every single day for 3 years?
Yeah, that didn't add up.
So there's just, I don't know. There's a lot of red flags. She could be totally just trying to help. I don't know. But she definitely, and another thing she said was,
well, part of me thinks she really is trying to help. It's just coming out the wrong way. And then there's so many discrepancies. It's hard to know what's true or not. And that's not helpful. Sharing things that we can't tell if it's true or not is not helpful. And that's what I was trying to tell her the other day when I said I'm going to ask her hard questions. And then even off air, I tried to warn her. So,
a lot of people were that was really the gist of on Kurt's show and Perplexed is you got to stop talking. And finally she did just get off the live. And then she kept saying kind of no comment because she was trying to act like she got what this guy was trying to tell her. Like, be quiet. Don't say anything anymore. Turn off the internet. I forgot what I was going to say before. It was something about something else she said.
I don't know. Well, thanks, Mindy, for hopping on the panel. I know you said you got to go to work and appreciate you sharing your thoughts.
All right. Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.
Bye. Guys, there's obviously a lot to unpack. I'm totally new about hearing this conversation that took place with Megan yesterday. Still trying to unpack it myself, considering I didn't hear it and it was 4 hours long. And then it was maybe 6 hours long because it was on multiple panels. But I'm trying to get down to the bottom of it. Sounds like Sleuthy has some good ideas and thoughts. Can't wait to hear those several things she said she want to talk about. I'm going to text Zav and just see how she's doing. How are you doing? Guys, have you seen Megan in the chat? Because she was in here earlier, and then we haven't seen her. But if she's in the chat, tell her to put a chat in so we know. Or tag her. Can we still tag her?
So.
Are you feeling all right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It really was a lot. It was a lot, and it didn't, again, it was done for a specific purpose. And I think that it just made it worse again. she said about how okay, I'm going to go back to Michelle's very first call with her. And she said that, why is it so crackly now?
It might be mine.
She said that Friday is when she went missing. Saturday, she didn't talk to Sammy at all. Sunday is when she talked to her for the first time. Last night, a couple times, and I made sure before I came back on here that that call where she said she called her and she was like, it's Daisy's mom. She said that happened on Saturday. So now we did talk to her on Saturday. So as soon as we found out that Kiely was missing, we called Sammy.
I see.
The other issue with this is that at one point they were talking about how Sammy, Daisy came home and was like, Sammy's going to have to sleep on our couch tonight.
I heard that before.
And she says, as a mother, I was like, well, I have to call her parents to let them know where they are. So you did kind of know her parents, right? I mean, you knew them enough to give them a call and let them know that. So it's little things like that. So then when we get back to these bigger things that even she admittedly, like when she first came around, it was to stick up for Sammy. That was why she came around.
Do you think she's overinflating their relationship that existed with Sammy?
No, I feel like a lot of it is underinflated.
Oh, really?
I do. I think that they were closer than.
So then that would make me think that her kids were at the party then.
Oh, I think. I absolutely think that they likely both were. And there's many reasons why I think that. I mean, she can say that her daughter was not, that she's been gone since July. But you have to ask why she immediately jumped into action if none of her children were there. Okay. And admittedly, she jumped into action to stick up for Sammy because she says Sammy was being vilified.
Which is partly true.
Not on the 9th, because we didn't even know who she was.
That's true. That is true. Not on the 9th, yeah.
But she said that the local TV, like the local news she was doing, Sammy was speaking to the local news, and I guess the locals were who was vilifying her at first.
It's interesting because there was another YouTuber who told me that they had to block her like years ago during the Chris Watts case from their channel. And so that's when I asked her that question, like, have you ever called into a channel before? She's like, I've never called into a channel before. I'm like, she knows her ways around these channels. Like I could tell she knows how to navigate the true crime community. Right. And so then she was like, well, I listen to everyone, but I've never been on a show before. And I'm like, that one was a little hard for me to believe just because another creator had already emailed me saying they blocked her before for during the Chris Watts case, which was like long before I even knew about YouTube crime channels.
Well, she was asked about that, and she said that she cleans houses. So any experience that she had with true crime was like what she heard playing on the TV while cleaning houses.
Yeah, but why would somebody block her if she hadn't like called in and caused disruptions before, right?
Right.
So very fascinating. So then what's your like 4 or 5 bullet points from the Captain Kurt thing?
So how the situation came about where she ended up talking with Evan. That is who, when she ran to the bank and she saw this woman she's known for 40 years, and didn't know who her children were until this woman said, oh, that's my son that you're looking for.
That's weird.
Let me see. There's many things,
If you guys watched that Megan interview yesterday, put a 1 in the chat. If you're catching up with it like I am right now, put a 2.
And so I screen recorded certain parts of that. And I would screen record because they started talking about one thing, like ask a question, start talking about one thing. But then it goes on and on and on and on and on and on. Then I've screen recorded for like 6 minutes and we're in an entirely different topic. At one point he asked about the Truckee Way.
That's what gives
And-
everybody the heebie-jeebies, right?
Well, I couldn't properly explain the response to that, but it had nothing to do with the document. It was like she had no clue what they were talking about. She started saying that the Truckee Way was like about the teens and how they go down there and party and everyone knows that that's what they're doing. And like, she's like, if I go down there right now, there's probably teenagers down there partying right now. Like,
the Truckee Way relies on consensus-seeking decisions-making processes modeled on the concept of interest-based negotiation, developed by Roger Fisher and William Ury of Harvard Negotiation Project. Here's the rules. Number 1, guys, I'm reading this from the website. Maybe I should just put it on the screen. This is from the Truckee website detailing what the Truckee Way is in case you're getting up to speed with what those things are. I'll zoom in. That way you guys can see these 6 rules. Number 1, separate people from the problem. This is the way of life in Truckee. No personal attacks or assignments of blame. Number 2, focus on the interest of those involved, not positions they may take. The process looks for a wise outcome that tries to meet multiple interests. Number 3, invent options for mutual gain. Many options will be considered to solve the problem or develop the policy. Number 4, use objective criteria to create and measure potential options and solutions. Entrenched positions, inaccurate or misleading information, and simply the loudest voices will not be the basis for decisions. Number 5, listen carefully to understand and then speak to be understood. Listen actively, communicate openly and transparently. Number 6, solutions are built upon establishing trust and working relationships between interested and sometimes opposing participants. That is on the Truckee website, literally outlining their way of life, right?
Yep.
So what was the response when asked about the Truckee Way?
She basically said that was what it was that it was the teenagers that go and they do their own thing. They party and they do, like, it was very much centered around the teenagers just going and doing their own thing and that's normal for all of them.
Squirrel Girl said she used the words, our teens are trained
Yeah.
to.
Yeah,
That's a thing? Ah, mamma mia. That really freaks me out.
Yeah, you have to listen to it though, because it's very much, it was very so anytime I've ever listened to Megan answer questions, now I have ADHD.
Me too.
I take my medicine and I do my CBT and I make sure that like all my therapy is in place and I'm using my actual like coping mechanisms to have it. Okay. Cause I'm 33 years old and I have to take care of a child. And so my brain working the way that it's supposed to is very important to me.
Me too.
When I get off of a live that she's been on answering questions, it does not feel how my brain feels when I don't take my medicine and I don't write notes for myself like I'm supposed to. And I do like all the things that I'm supposed to. That's not what it feels like. What it feels like is the runaround.
Yeah, it does.
I can tell
There's
you
constant excuses and justifications.
Yes. Yes. And it's the no. Okay. No. Okay. So, and then like not saying certain things. It's way more the runaround than it is what an ADHD brain. I know what that is. I know what that feels like.
Me too.
So, and I don't really like that. And I question why. And it's now weeks, or I guess a week. Michelle would know better, but it's been a week and none of the questions are answered and they're not answered the same way every time.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, I have a lot of questions with all of this, but I don't understand. There's so much I don't understand.
It's not learning anything new.
I don't understand what role she's playing in trying to be on all of these panels. Is it a distraction? That's really what we should be saying. What is she distracting us from? Because
Right.
it's not a coincidence that she happened to pop up as soon as all this footage is released, right?
Hmm.
Like, that's
Well,
where my mind goes.
after she said about this 911 call that doesn't maybe, so I was giving the benefit of the doubt, right? I was like, so we only listened to like a small part of the call logs. Maybe it was
Hang on a
removed.
second. I'm not vaping anything. What are you saying? What am I vaping? I don't vape. I have an ink pen. Look, Pilot G2. Please don't start a rumor that I'm vaping. I know you're not trying to. I just don't want that out there.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay. I didn't even see anything that would have made me. I was like, what are we talking about?
I know. I'm sorry. I just like to address that kind of thing.
You know, it came out after she brought up the 911 call, and I benefited the doubt. I was like, I'm not going to say that's been debunked. They could have removed it from the call logs. It could have, but then it's coming in and saying, oh, she lied. There's no 911 call. And it's headed off by saying, I went to go find out why I was lied to. And now this girl admits that she never did call 911. So it's not consistent. And it's, again, my brain doesn't appreciate how I feel after I listen to a live, because it's not me not functioning at my best cognitively. It's
right.
Run around. And I don't appreciate that. I can sympathize with someone who has ADHD and can't keep their thoughts straight.
Me too. And you can clearly tell when that's happening, or at least I can.
Yeah.
I know when I'm talking to people that have ADHD. I'm like, okay, yes, I understand what's going on with them currently in this moment. Yeah.
Right. But
I do it all the time. I'm like, I can't remember what we were talking about.
You can tell, and especially now, like if I'm mid thought and I forget, like I don't come up with something. I just like my brain just.
And I write down like little notes the whole time of like,
oh yeah, I've got
what am I
iPad
saying?
here.
That way, if I forget, I can come back to it.
Yeah, they're like, and that sometimes, depending on what we're talking about and who I'm talking to, they'll be like sitting on the edges of my computer. Like I need to, where I can look real quick so I don't look crazy. But it's like you develop ways to cope with that, so you're not, and again, very severe. And I've been on medication for most of my life. I was, tested by a neurologist, like not just like one of those kids where the parents like, she talks too much, give her medicine. It's something that I have to work with a neurologist often to get under control. And I'm telling you that that's not what I'm getting.
The way it works,
I'm getting a runaround. I feel run around. I feel tired when I hang up.
Yeah.
So
Opal says, my brain hurt trying to follow her. I'm diagnosed with ADHD and can spot a fellow non-neurotypical from miles away. That's not her.
I do agree.
Yeah. Oh, when people say like, oh, here's the solution for ADHD, and they like have a belt, I'm like, wrong. I know what it's like to have ADHD. It's not the solution.
Yeah.
It's like when people like try to like discipline their dog by putting, like rubbing their face in their urine or something. I'm like, you try just treats when they do the right thing. That
yeah,
like, that's basically actually probably what helps.
But I feel like I said, I feel like we're getting run around. So now we're all like looking at this footage, and it's supposed to be like this proof of an accident. And it's, I told you before, I don't know what that was. I couldn't legally prove that was Kiely.
Did you see the tweet that SF Investigates put out today?
Oh, he's had me blocked for months and months and months. Absolutely not. I haven't seen it.
Okay, I'll show it to you. Hey, little devil, welcome to the Feller fam. It's the first time I've ever said welcome to the devil and the Feller fam, but we're saying you're not the real devil. It's just your screen name. We're glad to have you as a part of the Feller fam. So he put this tweet out that said, because I was he'll probably block me after this, because I was responsible
Yeah.
for disclosing the camera, not the archives. I do feel a responsibility that people get this right. To clarify, Prosser was very full. There was no driving across the lake bed up into the neighborhood. There is no bridge. And so then he has all these little pictures. He says when the car went in the water, it had to be traveling east to get on the peninsula. The car that went in the water had to illuminate these trees with its headlights. I believe that's only the 1251 car. The 1233 car location, this is a steep embankment and will hide the headlights from the camera. This area and the shore was parking and a party area. There were lots of bottles, etc., from the party there. So that's what you posted too, from those people at the party who was saying that there was a party there. So that makes sense. And then it shows the camera's angle. And then it says, there is no way for a car to cross and go through the neighborhood. Prosser was full of water. This was taken 5 days after she went missing. So I didn't know if you'd seen that. I thought it was
I haven't, but like I don't know what he's saying.
I think he's trying to say, like, people were saying that there was a car that drove across the lake bed at 1250 or something, and he's just pointing out that 1250 car was not Kiely's car.
Okay, but when people started looking at this footage, he was the one that was saying that her car went out at 1250. That was him that was saying that.
By the way, Megan just emailed me. She says she's in chat. I'm wondering, she said, I'm in chat. Yes, it was October 4th. So that wasn't a week ago. Why would she say a week ago if it was October 4th?
That was 4 days ago.
It was 4 days ago, not a week ago.
Mm-hmm. What the heck? I don't know. I have many. I think that for me personally, I'm going to have to, when it comes to like, I'm always interested in talking to someone that would have like firsthand knowledge. But this just feels way more confusing, and it's like throwing me completely off. And it's something as simple as like, if we're given information and then we try to stick to it.
Exactly.
And then she like says something else, and it's like, well, she was nervous. She has ADD. She has this. She doesn't know. She's trying to not say this and that. And it's like, for me, it's like, okay, but then we have no accountability for what's being said. She could say something that's true or not true, and we're going to take it as what, and then turn around and just excuse it away. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense to me. It's not productive.
Do you want me to have her join the panel?
Yeah, if she will.
Hey, Little Devil, thank you for that super sticker. Guys, thank you so much for your support. You'll have to have better questions than I do because I didn't watch the live. I didn't have time to watch the live.
I think if she does come on the live, I would just rather ask my own questions.
Yeah.
And see what the answers are. I'm going to put my headphones in for this, just in case.
Little Devil, thank you so much for that super sticker. Guys, every super sticker, super chat makes such a big difference. We are completely crowdfunded. And so I just thank you so much for your support. If you haven't done so yet either, please hit the like button. That shoots us out into the YouTube algorithm and helps support in a free way our channel. So thank you for those of you that have hit the like button. However, only about a third of you that are currently watching have hit that like button. So go ahead and please hit the like button if you guys don't mind. That'd be really, really awesome. Some people say, how can we support if we don't give through super chat, super sticker? There's some information down at the bottom if you guys are interested in that. Don't feel any pressure, but if you want to support, that's a way. Guys, is my mic sounding okay, or is it staticky?
You sound good now. I don't know if it was. I plugged in my headphones. I don't know if that's what made the difference.
I don't know. I got to get it figured out. I might have too many things hooked up to my computer is one thing I'm thinking, or I don't know, because it's like all running through a box, and I'll do my best to try to get to the bottom of it. It was cracking on and off last night. It wasn't too bad, but it wasn't like desirable, staticky. I could switch my mics to just using my computer. I'll do that.
So the other thing is the cocaine, the substance. She clarified. So if you remember, we were told that she knew what was in Sammy's system. Right? Do you remember that?
I don't remember
Or no,
that.
not Sammy. Kiely. She knew it was in Kylie's system, and
I didn't hear her say that either because I haven't like kept up to date with as much as other people have.
Okay, she did. She said that it was that she had coke in her system, but that it was like earlier in the day, and it wouldn't have helped her like it would have if she had done it later. And what bothered me about that was that why would she, if she was comfortable enough to do it earlier in the day, why wouldn't she do it if it was available at the party, right?
Didn't a family member say, and it was on that Facebook group that I got kicked out of, that
You got kicked out of a Facebook group?
yeah, I got kicked
Usually
out.
I'm the one that gets kicked out of all of them.
I got kicked out for absolutely no reason. They said they
Yeah.
warned me not to show their feed, and they never warned me. I think they got mad about something else. But anyways, wasn't there a family member in that Facebook group who said the family already knew the toxicology report was going to come back unclean?
I don't know. I know that SF has said that it would definitely come back that she had been drinking, but I don't know anything more than that. However, when Megan said it, she said that the reason that she knew was because Jagger had told her that was what happened. That he talked to her earlier in the day, and she was doing.
I'm like, how would he know? Because he was supposedly somewhere else, right?
Right. Well, they spoke earlier in the day, and I guess she told him that's what she did. But then last night she said,
I text Jagger and say, "Did you talk to Megan about Kylie's details?"
Yes. You're gonna text him?
He texts me back almost every time.
Text him. Jagger or Truck Boy?
Both. But I'll text Jagger.
Yeah.
You talked to Megan about using cocaine?
Oh, I'm like, I just want to be silent. Like, would he talk to us?
Maybe.
I want to talk to Jagger.
I texted him. We'll see. It's delivered. He hasn't read it yet.
But she said last night, she said that she talked to Sammy. And Sammy told her that she would have coke in her system, like from earlier. Like it was the exact same story, but just that Sammy told her. So I would not be even surprised if Jagger said, I never said that. But I also wouldn't be surprised if we were adding to, like, Sammy was with her and watched her the whole night. And so that's how she would, like, Sammy wasn't even with her during the day. So how would she even know about it?
Yeah, exactly.
And I want to know if the reason that we've backtracked on that is because everyone was saying, if she had done coke and she was drinking, she would not have been as drunk as, we've been led to believe.
Yeah, exactly. It's very fascinating. We'll see what Jagger says. I sent him a text. He responded like the last time I texted him was 1 month ago, September 8th. So it's been a month since I've texted him, but it was to debunk something that was going on Zavgirl stream. And he did text me back, but it took him like 6 hours.
You should ask him if he's heard about the footage too. If he responds, you should ask him if he's heard about the fire cams. The other interesting comment she made was about that she didn't know about the fire cams. I find it super interesting that no one knew about that fire camera.
How could they not know?
Sammy knew about all the cameras, but I think that this one being pointed at that reservoir, I think is going to be a shock to everybody that was there.
Yeah.
Because it's not always pointed at the reservoir.
Oh, Megan sent me a message and said I can't come up.
Megan is very back and forth. So Megan I messaged Megan specifically in private on Facebook for help with the timeline. That's it. And when she answered, she said no comment. But then on a live stream, she was like, I'm sorry, I didn't know like even who you were and that this was you, or I would have answered. That's the only reason I said no comment. So I was like, okay. Then I got a message and she was like, I'm not going to do any more panels. I have to step away from this, and then I got further explanation on different channels about how her family wanted her to step back from doing panels, which I understood. But then I got a message that she was on Captain Kirk's last night. And I just feel like I wish she would stop. Just either stop or get on a stream where what she needs is going to happen, which is
like stick to a story that we can totally follow. Yeah, or stop going on streams because it's just muddying the water.
It's getting worse and worse, at least for me. And I at first was not like I heard her speak on Ickadmill and I was interested.
Yeah.
And then the next one, and I was
Ickadmill's like, wait, what? Like when she called it.
Now, and I'm like still a little interested. And then like the next live, I'm like still a little interested and wanting clarity. But then it just got to a point where I was like, this is just, it's different every time I hear it. And I don't know if this is covering and not speaking your full truth, or if it's speaking on things that you didn't yourself experience, which I think is a problem. It's easy to get wrapped up in someone else's story when you don't know the full thing. So when someone's grilling you and asking you questions about a story and you don't know the entire thing, it can look really bad.
It's definitely like one of those situations where it was kind of the perfect storm for her because she's interested in true crime to begin with. So she's been involved in all these cases, and now it happens in her hometown. And if she really does know Sammy, it happens with people that she knows. And so all these YouTube creators that she's watching anyways are now covering her hometown with people that she knows.
Yeah.
That has to be pretty crazy if you think about it.
Mm-hmm. And in fact,
cataclysmic.
I'd have to think about what she said. She made a comment about this woman that she initially had the conversation with about seeing lights go into the water.
Yeah.
And she said that she showed her, or maybe it was like up on her phone, she saw the picture of Kiely and she's like, this is Kiely, the girl that's missing from around here. And I just thought, how does she not know?
Right.
How did the locals not know? You're not going to tell me that locals didn't know, because locals knew for 3 days before they let the whole world know. So you happen to have this person who was there, but didn't know someone was missing. And she was right across the water.
Yeah, I know. It's interesting. Roxy sends a super chat, says, considering the accident theory, intoxicated or not, if she was alert enough to climb to the hatch, wouldn't she have screamed for help? I would have.
And the windows were down. The windows were down and there was no music. Do I think she would have screamed for help? Absolutely. And do I think people would have heard her? People not even related to the party? Yeah, I do.
Did you hear Mindy's theory that she said today, which was like when the water went off into the embankment, if Kiely wasn't buckled, her head could have hit because you see and it actually made sense to me. Like you see on the windshield, there was a crack on the top of it. So maybe her head actually cracked the windshield and then she was unconscious from that and then floated to the back. I mean, like it's lower chance of possibility, but it at least is a possibility, right?
If she got to the back, it was from floating and it was before it went underwater.
In the accident theory. Yeah.
Correct. Well, just in general. So we already know she was found in the hatch.
Oh, right. But
she didn't swim there.
Yeah. But like she would have got there from floating, like theoretically makes more sense from the back seat than from the driver's seat.
Yeah. So let's say, for instance, she's in the back seat and the water from the passenger seat that was open rushed in and like lifted her. She was small, lifted her up out of the seat, threw her backwards. That could be one thing. But again, then who was driving the car into the water?
Yeah.
That's not an accident. If she was in the back seat, either. No.
Thanks, Roxy Coco, for your super chat. And if she did scream, especially because we know, at least from eyewitness accounts, when that music was stopped playing, that people should have been able to hear. Heidi Joy, thank you so much for hopping aboard the super sticker train. Marlena says, how can she know for a fact unless she was there? Great point. She's just doing hearsay. Thank you for your super chat. Amy, our super sticker train conductor. Thank you so much, Amy. Really appreciate it. It'd be awesome if anyone else wants to hop aboard our super sticker train on the Saturday afternoon stream. And guys, I know we usually come on later. We're coming on a little earlier today, so sorry for the earlier stream, but I'm glad that you're here. And thank you to all those of you that have hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on the stream. Yeah, I'm just reading through some chats.
Someone just sent me like all of Steve's things, messages or posts or whatever. And it says, the 1251 car can't just disappear into the neighborhood. Whatever car ended up in the water had to illuminate the trees across the inlet. Because of the angle the car had to come down the peninsula. We can't speculate with this. It's not fair. Don't use overlays with no water. Please help me explain. Like, help me understand. I don't understand what this is saying. I'm my brain is like, I'm like,
yeah, what is he saying?
What is he saying? And why are we're not speculating. We're looking at the car. That's not even the angle of the, like, I'm not, the water was higher, I thought. Was that island even available? Like, was that even?
This is a picture he took, or someone took 5 days after. So the
Right.
water in this picture on the screen is like pretty close to accurate.
Are you sure?
I'm just going off of what he said. He said this is a photo from 5 days after Kiely went missing.
So then what that says to me is 100%. Why are we not debating the fact that someone drove out to that island, which would appear as though it was in the water, turn their lights off, and then eventually turn the lights back on, turn around and go back?
Mm-hmm. But I don't know what he's trying to get at with the 1251 car.
Me either.
It's
confusion. It's producing confusion. I don't understand it. Why bring up this footage and then turn around and say we're speculating? That's all we have to do. That's literally all we can do.
It's like he produces something and then gets mad when other people talk about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's weird from that perspective. It's like, don't put it on social media if you don't want people to talk about it. Of course, people are going to talk about it.
Right.
And then is he upset because other people did an overlay and he didn't?
He's saying you can't do an overlay. I don't know why.
The overlay is the only thing that allowed us to be able to see what was actually going on.
Right.
I'm thankful for the overlay.
Me too. Well, he's saying you can't use an overlay with no water. I know for me, I used a photo as an overlay that was from that same exact day, just a couple hours before. So how's that not fair? That's the most accurate depiction we have.
I think he's just saying because the water levels were not the same, you can't use an overlay.
I think he's just saying you need to interpret this video the way that I'm telling you to interpret it, and the time I'm telling you to interpret it, and the car I'm telling you to interpret. That's what he's saying, Tyler. Stop speculating. I'm giving you the answer. I know, I was there. I'm the one that produced this footage.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Ashley B says the U.S. Forest Service has a minor go missing at a campground. They manage.
Right.
And they don't bring up the idea to check the fire cams. They also manage.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Thank you for that super chat. Great point. Oceans 11 says exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, Sleuthy.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. My goodness. Well, I'm fascinated by all of this. And
I probably shouldn't have picked your stream to. I want to bitch is what I want to do. I want to bitch and I want to be like, make it make sense right now, please. I don't get it.
Yeah, we're like a little more middle ground, but you know what? I'm with you though. I'm not understanding it either. And then like this dude just is not making sense. Like I'm going through here's another tweet that he put out. He's saying, great, I hope it helps. I know the topography can be confusing if you've not been there. If I hadn't spent so much time at Prosser, I'd be confused trying to gauge the size of the area or the dirt roads.
What? Okie dokie. Smoky. This is just like in the beginning of this when he initially went there and he said about people who are suspicious and also about it being foul play and not being an accident and questioning this and questioning that. And then out of the clear blue sky, now it was an accident and everybody needs to stop. You're horrible beings for even continuing this foul play thing. And it's like, so now we're going to get this footage and we're going to let everybody talk about it for a couple days. And then we're going to start slamming on this is not fair. You're speculating about that footage. And I can't believe you guys are saying all these things and it's not right.
Water levels are not accurate or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, I read that sentence like 4 times. I'm like, I actually have no clue what he's trying to say. I was trying to fill in the gaps for him, but it wasn't adding up.
Nope. I'm glad it's not just me because sometimes it can be. But for that particular instance, I was like,
people in the chat, nobody understood it in the chat either.
Yeah, she sent it to me and I'm like, am I that stupid? Am I that I feel like I'm mildly intelligent, but then I read these and I'm like, do what?
Athena says, everyone telling lies and more lies. CYA by all.
Yep.
Everyone is telling lies. Now, did you see the thing about the speed? Like this guy from the channel, I put it on the screen earlier. He calculated like the speed she was driving.
Oh, what was the speed she was driving? I didn't see that.
So he said the approach to the water was an average speed of 9.4 miles per hour. But when she got to the water line or the top of that embankment where there's obviously a down slope, she got to 10.9 miles per hour.
So here's my question. Because 9.4 miles per hour is not slow. And most especially not on a bumpy road. Why didn't we see those lights go all down through there? It would have been just crazy because of all the bumps.
I mean, that's a good point too, right? And we do kind of see that on that 1251 camera. It says this implies that the encounter with the slope was not expected or noticed. Yeah, it's a great point. SD says, is it true that Nate's dad's a part of the Firecam tech company? It's like maybe like the owner of it or the financier behind it. Yeah, that is happened to be true. That. Isn't that weird?
Not really. Not anymore.
You're like, actually, it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, with this craziness now, I mean, like if someone would have come to me like a month ago and been like, let's say long before she was found, and they were like, do you know that the boy that she dated, that like there's pictures of his grandparents with like Nancy Pelosi? I'd be like, what are you even talking about? Please ignore me and miss me with that craziness. But now,
I know. Well, I've been ignoring it. Like, talk about somebody who's purposely been ignoring all of that stuff right here. You're looking at them, but it's just becoming more and more and more obvious that there's at least some undercurrents of a trucky way of political infrastructure imposing themselves on it. And the thing from the beginning that I couldn't understand, that literally nobody could answer for me, is why on earth was there so many FBI agents involved, Department of Homeland Security involved from day one? Think of all the other cases that we cover. Think of all the cases that we cover. Like the Dylan Rounds case, there's like one FBI agent who has 17 or 21 other cases that he's working on and is supposed to also somehow help with the Dylan Rounds case. How does that make sense? 50 on day one, essentially assigned to this case. Department of Homeland Security, which don't even get involved in this type of case, I felt like that was the biggest red flag to me from the beginning.
So Captain Kurt his ears must have been on fire because he's here.
Is he? He's probably like, let's talk about it. Athena says, liars, all of them. I still believe she was pushed. Thank you for your super chat, Athena.
I mean, we don't have anything to say she wasn't, right? I mean, you can't see people.
Can you push a car 9.4 miles per hour?
Can you push it at the very top of a hill and it roll down at a certain degree of slope?
Well, it goes to 10.9 at that spot, like when it goes down the hill.
So wouldn't that make sense as someone who you would gain speed as you go down? Let's say her foot was off the gas entirely. You would gain speed as you were going down.
Yeah.
Living Late Time is here too. I like him too.
Who's Living Late Time?
Oh, he's like super funny. He likes FOIA requests just as much as I do.
Oh,
So
cool.
he like hunted down to try to figure out what the rest of that 911 call / dispatch was about the girl that was seen like, and the guy was acting erratically and she had no shirt on and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And I actually had pulled the clip from a community meeting where that Angela, whatever her last name is, was like, it's fake news. The tank top was fake news. It's all fake news. He was like, here's the recording of the actual dispatch. Please tell us how it is fake news. Because that's much different than we looked into it and it wasn't her. Fake news implies that the entire situation was a lie. They did at one point say that the YouTuber that put that dispatch out made up the entire dispatch call, which is not true. It's incorrect.
I know, that's really frustrating. They did say that. That Angela Masalam is who you're talking about.
Yes.
I've done so many streams where I've just like went through the line of the number of lies that she's mentioned, and one of them being like, this is a photo of Kylie's exact vehicle. It's like, well, she got the vehicle in July and it's covered in snow.
Right. But then they go back and they say that, you know, people are saying that is not her vehicle. Her vehicle was totally different. Her vehicle was the one where the doors were open. It looked like it was on like a parking lot.
I know. I've done a side by side of all the vehicles and tried to figure out what the truth is on that. I can't get down to the bottom of it because it's hard and impossible to know. But there's some
which one is it?
differences.
Which one
There's
is it?
differences between the one that was covered in snow and the one that was pulled out of the water.
Mm-hmm. I find it really, so I do want to say, there are people who have stayed neutral throughout this whole Megan situation. Benefited the doubt, like I said. To be seeing people say that they think that she is now suspicious, you know, again, I boil it down to, is it she is suspicious because there's something to hide, or is she suspicious because of the Truckee way?
That's a great point.
Like, was her kids involved, or is it just the Truckee way?
Yeah.
Or is she looking out for all the kids or all the grown-ups?
Is she
there were grown-ups there.
overcompensating, or is
Right.
there actually some things going on? You know,
Right.
It's a great point. Good observation.
I'm inclined to think that. So my particular theory. So the whole avoidance of answering the question, "What is the Truckee way?" was what was the problem for me. Yeah, it's like you don't know. The whole internet knows.
You live there, you don't know. They got their 6 points on their website.
Yeah, exactly.
Squirrel Girl says, this is clear cut to me. Son of an influential family has at least, I would put that little asterisk there, at least guilty knowledge. Yep. Makes sense. Yep. The Murdaugh family playbook. Thank you, Squirrel Girl. I mean, who knows, but that's it. Here's some of that. I was like just looking at some of the discrepancies. And, you know, it's from a previous stream that I did it on the air, but it was like, I felt like there's some things that definitely look different. So people can decide for themselves. But
that picture of the back window to the forest, right, from underwater, did you flip that?
Yeah, I flipped it and
I just
then
wanted to be sure.
Maneuvered it because it
looked like you turned it.
Yeah, I was trying to like get it lined up to this bottom window because it just looked like a different curvature pattern and a different bezel on the window. And so that was like why I was like, let's try to flip it and get it in the same position as much as possible. So I don't know that, but the point of it is like exactly what you're saying is that Angela Masalam just came out and said that hoodie is of utmost importance and value. And it was totally not even the hoodie she was wearing. And then it's like, what was she even wearing at the party? That bodysuit? I don't think so, with a tank top when every other kid was wearing hoodies and jackets out there. And so then they're like, well, she had this hoodie. Well, she didn't have that hoodie. She had the Odd Future hoodie. So a lot of the things Angela Masalam said turned out not to be true.
And could that be something as simple? Sorry, I'm still sick. Could that be something as simple as the people who were there that were giving descriptions of what she was wearing weren't being honest. Because I'm here to tell you that the people that I've spoken to, the last thing they saw her wearing was a gray sweatshirt, a light gray sweatshirt.
Yeah, exactly.
That tow truck driver, not for nothing, but when he said gray sweatshirt, light gray sweatshirt, I was like, that's bull crap, because I've not heard that at all. Until I did from someone else at the party. And I was like, so y'all two are the only ones saying that she had on a light gray sweatshirt? That's interesting to me.
What's your take on the tow truck driver at this point? By the way, Athena says Truckee is cultish, fully explainable. Well, good point on that, because that's turned out to be true too, Athena.
Yeah. Athena's like, just listen to me now so we can avoid all surprises in the future. Yeah, I mean, I want to hear the other 90%. I'm not putting him out of, I've not heard the whole story.
Well, like I told you, I did talk to Doug Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think that they have a lot more things than just the tow truck driver story, would be the way I would say it. And so like some of the decisions and things that they were saying wasn't based totally on that one guy's testimony.
Yeah, I figured. Well, and if you remember when they asked about like what was making them think foul play, they said it was like the culmination of the entire couple of days that they were there.
Yeah.
Every conversation they had. I would be interested to hear the rest of what he has to say.
Michelle, did you talk to Doug too? I'm curious. Mindy says, I remember what I was going to say. I love when that happens.
Yeah.
She said, Megan said she was at a teen talk and that's where she talked to these kids. How if no kids were involved or adults were allowed? I mean,
I asked about this. I said, did you go inside the teen talk? No. I said, did Sammy come outside of the teen talk? No. Okay. Did you talk to her on the phone? No. I said, so, okay, how did you talk to her at the teen talk? And she said she didn't know that it was a teen talk. So I'm thinking, when you think of the teen talks, are you thinking of them being in like a library with like doors? At one point she was trying to get people in a van, like a van with like no windows. What are you envisioning that these teen talks were like? Did you think they were outside? Did you think that they were in a room, in a conference room, in a building somewhere?
My thought was like initially they did some like in vehicles at the actual campsite. Mm-hmm. And then when they actually did the like scheduled teen talk, it was like at a grocery store parking lot or something. That's what I thought they said. But Sammy said that they were making the adults park so far away that you couldn't even see an adult at all through anywhere you looked around, right?
Mm-hmm. So she says that she was just there in the parking lot and she, I guess, like texted Sam to talk to her. She said there were no teens there at that time talking.
At the teen talk.
Right. But then again goes on to say that that's how she talked to these kids. She went to the teen talk and there were teens talking.
In which adults were not allowed to even be in the radius of, is what they said.
But she was, and her children were not there. So it's not like they were there. She was going, you know what I mean? Like, where is this location that you didn't know there was a teen talk going on? So how did you know Sammy was there?
It's so wild.
It is.
It just isn't adding up. It's almost like we have to throw out every single thing that she says and just totally negate it as propaganda. And I negate it as not just propaganda, but distraction. And what are we being distracted from?
Yeah.
And then the thing I feel like maybe we're all being distracted from is because, oh man, I don't want to do that because it just seems like so conspiratorial. When were the times that Megan sort of appeared on the scene? Well, initially on Naked Mel's channel was pretty much present for like a week. We don't hear from her again. And then as soon as this video releases, she's sort of back in the spectrum, and it is causing confusion and people are distracted and everybody's talking about that. And we're not analyzing the footage of what happened as much.
Yeah. I agree. I think looking at the timing as opposed to what's being said is probably going to be better. I think this video is distracting. I think it's nothing more than distracting because again, we cannot see what's going on. We can't even confirm that it's Kiely's car. We cannot confirm that she was driving. We cannot confirm that somebody pushed her. We cannot confirm, like, we can't see anything. So what was the point of it?
Did you see what Jennifer Cobbadaver said today about that?
Maybe.
Okay.
Was she saying something about
It was
who's going to be
after
held?
your response. I'll put it on there. There you are. She said, here's what it does. It sheds light on when, it shed lights on how, it sheds light on where she drove prior to entry. It sheds light on the vehicle activity. She's preferring to post more after authentication from law enforcement. But as the items from her car were never verified, will this ever be?
Right. Probably not. And that's what I mean. We can't even get a confirmation that is her vehicle, or those were her belongings, or even going down to when they were questioned about her being at the party and they're just like, yeah. And then they bring up this photo, but we still haven't seen the photo. They haven't even we've not even actually seen anything that says that she was there. And this is my thing with SF. At one point he said that, and I could go find it, but he basically said that, see, this is my brain.
You said this is your problem with SF. He basically said that. I totally understand though. I do it all the time.
He was like, they were talking about the ping and checking the water. And this was like 2 days before she was found. And he was like, especially with looking at the last ping, makes it even less likely that she's in the water down there. So where was the last ping? Because we're assuming, and we're using this video as confirmation that is where she last pinged, but we do not know that.
Yeah.
We know that mom said that she saw the ping. The last location she was able to view was at the campground at 12:03. At 12:33, it pinged in the same spot as it did at 12:03. That doesn't put her at the water.
Right.
Because otherwise she'd have been in the water at 12 o'clock.
But we don't know too, like, how accurate those pings are.
Well,
right?
Yeah, but okay, so if we're going to say that, then we have to also then say that we can't use that as a way to confirm that is her vehicle going into the water. If we're saying that we don't know how accurate that ping is, then we can't then also say she literally went in at the spot she pinged at the time she pinged, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but he made it sound like it was on the other side of the campground somewhere.
What? I was thinking, like, what if everything he says totally wasn't true, and then these videos actually prove that, but then he's the one who released them for the world to know about?
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't be the first time. Just saying. But we'll disable, we'll delete, and then we'll reappear, and it'll be like it was never said.
Yeah. I can't believe, like, they haven't made any statement at all about any of this stuff.
What does the Truckee Way say about that?
I don't have their 6 tenets memorized.
Because neither does Megan. She's going to be a big trouble. I just feel like I feel like the pending police investigation is going to be something that's going to continue. I think that this is just my theory. I don't think that they're going to be able to come back and say that she was in an accident, nor do I think they're going to be able to come back and say that that it was foul play, unless they're going to pin this on Nate C. Or whoever had recently been arrested there. Yeah. There's a reason he appeared.
Right.
Like they announced on like the 4th that a girl that died in June died from fentanyl, and they were wanting to know if anyone had any information. Then all of a sudden, a week later, this little girl, this new, almost same aged girl is missing. And we interrupt our regularly scheduled posts about this girl to talk about this boy.
Yep.
Same as the sweeps, the SO sweeps. They interrupted those posts for that as well. I cannot help but think that it was connecting them in some way.
Yeah.
Perhaps for later.
Frustrating, isn't it?
Very.
So we have our work cut out for us. Thank you so much for coming on my panel today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
I'm sorry
it was rocky in the beginning.
No, and you're such a wealth of great knowledge and information, and you helped me work my way through all of this. I'm sure we'll be in talks in the next couple of days. I take Sundays off, so I'm not going to be streaming tomorrow, but I'll be back at it on Monday, and I'll be checking your Twitter feed for any relevant information you may have.
Okay. Have a good night. Let me know if you hear from Jagger.
I will. I'll send you a screenshot if he messages me back.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Hey guys, thank you so much for being a part of the stream today. Just to let you know, we have amazing coffee. We have vanilla bean and chocolate covered cherry available. We had pumpkin party, but we sold out. It's over on movement-coffee.com. That's one way you can really support us. And I just want to take a second and say thank you guys for everybody who is a part of what we're doing. Vanilla bean, chocolate covered cherry, great ways to help. I also wrote a book called Don't Stop, and it's learn to see your failures and struggles as opportunities. And so if you've had failures or struggles in your life, this book is a great way to help. I wish I could continue the conversation more, but I have a speaking engagement tomorrow at a church. And so I have to drive to that. It's like 4.5 hours away. And so I have to get off here because it's already 3:30 and I'm not on the road yet. And I need to get on the road so I get rested and ready for tomorrow. But I was glad to be here with you. Do me a favor, if you guys don't mind, hit the like button, subscribe if you don't mind. Thank you for the super chats and super stickers that you guys sent. It makes such a huge difference and it helps us out in many, many, many ways. Do me a favor, as soon as I end the stream, if you guys don't mind, comment in the post. That will help. I want to pray over you too real fast. Father, I thank you for every person you brought to our stream today. I bless them in the mighty name of Jesus, that they would find your hope, your peace, your grace. I bless them with your power. And Lord, I pray they have a great day, that they have their senses awakened to be able to experience you. So I bless them in Jesus' name.